everything nice, but gets nothing done and doesn't get elected. They're afraid of Donald Trump just telling it like it is, and y'all get over it.
Well, I think that what they do is they're watching a great deal of real hard political work going right down the tubes, because we, the people of the United States, didn't want what they were doing to begin with, and they were trying to just ease it past us by distracting us, keeping us busy, or doing whatever. These people, these politicos that I'm talking about here, that are currently getting their butt kicked by a complete amateur because they have lied to us, misled us, refused to do our bidding, which is exactly why we put them in power to begin with. They're all coming down on, oh my goodness, this guy could beat us. And not only that, they're getting their comeuppance for ignoring us. Now, once again, I think Ted Cruz is a better candidate, but I'm not arguing against millions upon millions upon millions of my fellow citizens who think that Donald Trump is the right guy. He is the clear front runner here. There is no ambiguity about this. I think Ted Cruz is a brilliant candidate. I think he's a brilliant politician. I think he's the right guy for the job. But I'm not going to be one of those people that say all those voters are wrong and they're stupid and they're dumb. I'm not saying that. I'm not going to have any part of that. The people are speaking. I am listening. Mike in Plano, thanks for joining us. Welcome to the Wells Report.
Yeah, everybody keeps coming close, but I don't think they've truly hit it yet. The real truth is, and what's really got the left scared is, he doesn't care about political correctness. Free speech has been suppressed for so long by political correctness. The only thing that should be spoken is the truth. And that has got the left petrified. He can speak the truth with no side effects. You know, everybody else has been afraid to do that. If you control the way people speak, you control the way they think. And that's been their goal the whole time. And he's blown the lid off it.
I will disagree with you. I don't believe that the people who are mouthing the words of the Soviet Communist Party actually believed them, but they mouth them nonetheless. In other words, I think you can get people to alter their way of communicating with each other, but you can't alter their thoughts. And so on and so forth. So on that one small point, I will disagree. It really doesn't have anything to do with Donald Trump per se.
Yeah, but here's the thing. If the media keeps repeating things and keeps kind of wording it the way the left wants them to, then it makes the left sound correct. And they're not. If you look at those people in Chicago, did you notice what they were doing? They were going in there and they were grabbing people and refusing to let go of them, hoping to get hit. They wanted to get punched.
Oh, of course. That's exactly what they were doing. This is all done on purpose. This is, there was a woman who was at the Tucson rally who decided to stop that parkway that everybody drives on, and what they ended up doing was taking a bunch of vans, and a bunch of people ran out in the street, and they parked this van out there, and she chained her neck to this door in this van. And from what I was able to determine, according to a couple of news reports, she was somebody that was a George Soros supporter who was out there just basically to create havoc. So there's some professionals that are fomenting this. And that is monstrously dishonest. That's the way I see it. Kevin in Dallas, welcome to the Wells Report. What do you suppose it is about Donald Trump that is so harshly polarizing between all of us?
Well, first of all, I think that he has conveniently become a Republican after having his hand out, giving money out to all sorts of areas of influence. Not to mention the fact that a lot of his business is in the construction business, and being a former law enforcement officer from New York, I could tell you that a lot of the unions up in that area are controlled by the mob. So I think they're more acting out on what he's saying. He's saying the right things because those are the issues that everybody is upset about and want to see change in. But I don't think he really supports his issues. For example, like that whole thing with the New York Times tape. Why not release the tape? If he didn't say that he was talking out of both sides of his mouth when he talked to the people, but then he told the Times something totally different, he would release the tape. And I think they're just reacting. And I think the people that have had it good under Obama for the last 8 years want to have that continued, and they want their free stuff, and they want their free phones, and they want free health care at the cost of the people who are doing the work in this country. And those people that are doing the work in the country have had enough.
I agree. 866-660-5759. 866-660-5759. Now, there are a couple of things here that are at work. And I want you to understand that unless you're really paying attention, you're going to miss some things here. There's the American left, and then there's the American media. The American media is threatened by Donald Trump because he has overrun and essentially, for all intents and purposes, destroyed the PC gotcha game that the media has been playing on our politicians forever. Not just Republicans, but mostly Republicans. So a lot of the things that you are hearing and reading in the press, hearing on television news and reading in the press, they're slanted against Donald Trump because Donald Trump is in a position where he threatens their rice bowl too. The hard left in America is looking at the possibility of Donald Trump dismantling decades of social engineering. Now, I don't know whether he will do any of those things. I don't know what Donald Trump will do. Donald Trump still hasn't talked about reducing the size of American government or returning to the constitutional roots that gave birth to the American government. And that's the guy we need in the White House immediately. We need somebody that's going to reduce the size of American government back down to a reasonable facsimile of the Constitution of the United States. That's not Donald Trump. At least he hasn't said anything like that. That's Ted Cruz. But the people are speaking a different tune, and it's polarizing us. Is that good for the American presidency? 866-660-5759. This is the Wells Report. You remember Allen West. He's now former Congressman Allen West. You know why he was listed or is listed as a former congressman? Well, because conservative members of the House of Representatives elected by the Tea Party movement were targeted by a progressive liberal phone company, a cell phone company that raised $3 million to beat what they called the Tea Party 10. They were successful. One of the guys they got was Allen West, one of the greatest patriots to ever be in the United States government. Where did they get their money? Where did they get that $3 million, this progressive liberal cell phone company? From you. That's right. From you. Remember Obama phone? That was a payoff, a political payoff by President Obama to these same cell phone companies who got their money from you. I'm Jon-David Wells from the Wells Report. Patriot Mobile is a conservative phone company. They take their money, 5% of every dollar they receive from you, and fight conservative candidates and conservative causes. Just like your current phone number, Patriot Mobile offers the same great nationwide talk and text, 4G LTE data services, and popular phones. And I did say your phone number. You don't have to give up your telephone number. You don't have to give up anything. You're getting the same quality. You're getting the same everything. Well, actually, it's not exactly the same. You will pay less money. Yeah. If you call 1-800-A-PATRIOT right now, you'll get your choice of a Samsung Galaxy S5 or an Apple phone 5S. When you sign up for 1 month, when you sign up for one of Patriot Mobile's unlimited talk, text, and data plans for just $50 a month. You've got to hurry. This offer is good only while supplies last. Only while supplies last. Patriot Mobile, the conservative choice for mobile phone service. 1-800-A-PATRIOT. Get in touch with them at patriotmobile.com. 1-800-A-PATRIOT. Call right now and tell them you heard about it on the Wells Report.
The Wells Report. Must-hear radio on 660 AM. The Answer.
Hey, does the idea of having your home sold on time without hassle and for top dollar, does that seem unrealistic to you? Well, it doesn't have to. Hey, Dallas, it's your friend Sean Hannity with your solution and the one real estate agent to sell your home guaranteed. That's Josh DeShong of Josh DeShong Sean Williams. On average, Josh sells a home every 32 hours and averages hundreds of local, national, and international buyers every single week. Now, that means your home sells on time at a price that you agreed to, guaranteed, or Josh will buy it. He spends 200 times more money on marketing than the average agent. Real estate mogul and Shark Tank star Barbara Corcoran only recommends Josh in DFW. And if I lived in Dallas and needed my home sold, guess what? I'd call Josh DeShong, and you should too. Call Josh now at 972-325-6644 or go online at getsold.net. That's 972-325-6644 or getsold.net.
Have you been holding out for a good deal to replace that old AC system? Well, now there's a new program you just can't pass up. I'm Jeff Stewart with Reliant Air Conditioning. You may have already heard that you can save over $3,500 on a new Infinity system with Carrier's Cool Cash, but did you know that for a limited time, you can also get an additional $1,800 off from your utility provider? That's right. And when you combine these two programs, we're talking saving over $5,000 on a brand new AC system that can cut your electric bill in half. But the utility funds are limited, and the program will end when the money runs out. Right now, we're scheduling free estimates on a first-come, first-served basis. So call now. Better yet, call 2 other companies first, and then call Reliant Air Conditioning, and you'll see how we've been gimmick-free since '83. Call 877-YOUR-HERO. That's 877-968-7437, or visit us online at ReliantAirConditioning.com.
Reliant Air Conditioning. Call 877-YOUR-HERO.
For you, as someone who lives in America, having access to a Bible is something you probably take for granted. You can go to almost any bookstore and even browse multiple versions. But imagine if this wasn't the case. Imagine wanting to grow through the Word of God, but neither you nor your pastor have a Bible.
Hi, I'm Stephen Lutz. I'm the founder and president of Harvesters Family of Ministries. Recently, we found a man who's been in ministry for over 50 years, who has never owned a Bible. Imagine that. We asked him how that happened, and he said at Bible school, they lent him a Bible. But when he left, they said the Bible had to remain behind because the next student wouldn't have something to study from. And he prayed for 50 years until we found him and handed him his first copy of the Word of God. As tears streamed down his face, he thanked those of us who brought the Bible and those who donated it.
For just $15, you can provide a Bible to these pastors and churches that are being planted daily by Harvesters. Just go to 660amtheanswer.com and click on the Harvesters banner. For just $15, you can spread the Word of God throughout the world.
Have you put off seeing the dentist because you can't afford to go? Are big dental bills taking a big toll on your wallet? Would you like to have dental insurance but think it's too expensive? If you answered yes to any of these questions, call Physicians Mutual Insurance Company for a free information kit. See how you can help protect your teeth and your wallet for less than $1 a day. 1-800-508-9951. This is real dental insurance that can help cover over 300 procedures, all the ones you're most likely to need. Everything from cleanings and fillings to crowns and dentures. Your acceptance is guaranteed for one of these insurance policies, even if you're retired or on Medicare. You can see any dentist you choose, and you'll never pay a deductible. Call in the next 10 minutes, and we'll rush you a free information kit with all the details. 1-800-508-9951. That's 1-800-508-9951. 1-800-508-9951.
You can listen on the go. Find us on iHeartRadio. 660 AM. The Answer. Now, by popular demand, The Wells Report with Jon-David Wells, 60 AM. The Answer.
You are listening to The Wells Report. My name is Jon-David Wells. Our telephone number 866-660-5759. JB Midlothian, welcome to The Wells Report.
Oh, sir, thank you. We're going to be the nation's going to be very disappointed if Trump doesn't do a lot of things he says. And what you said earlier about him not saying anything about reducing the big government, well, I think in some ways we're just what we've complained about Obama using executive action. I think we're just going to have more of that. And I just want to add a little caveat that nobody mentions this movement of an Article 5 Convention of States, and I really think that's probably in the long run our only hope of reducing the size of our central government.
I hear you. I think that what we have to do, though, is we have to take somebody who has based most of his campaign on that very premise, you know, and I understand, and I understand what Trump is trying to get done, but he spends a lot of time talking about other things besides that. And for me, I think the whole key of all of this is a smaller U.S. government. This is the Wells Report.
This is Howard Garrett, the Dirt Doctor, and I'd like to invite you to join me for our talk show every Sunday morning. We're actually trying to convert the world to organics. We talk about the natural organic program for farming, ranching, gardening, and pest control. Also, a lot of talk about health issues for animals and people. Hope you can join us for all the fun.
Make sure to tune in to Howard Garrett, the Dirt Doctor, every Sunday morning from 8 to 11 a.m. right here on 660 a.m. The Answer.
Hi, I'm Tom Kidd, engineering graduate of Texas A&M and owner of Structured Foundation Repairs. Our number is 972-484-1200. Our motto is to do the right thing. In some respects, it's hard being the company that always does the right thing. But for our customers' sake, it's very important that we do. Being fully insured, as an example, costs us a lot of money, but it protects our customers. Having employees instead of day laborers is a huge responsibility, but our dedicated employees ensure that we do the best repairs we can. Managing a large office staff can be tedious, but they provide our customers a helpful voice when they need something urgent. Returning every phone call is time-consuming, but instills our customers with confidence that we will always be there when they need us. The Aggie Code of Honor states that Aggies don't lie, cheat, or steal, or tolerate those that do. That code was the principle our company was founded on, and it guides our daily operations. If this sounds like the kind of company you could trust to repair your foundation, call us today for a free evaluation at 972-484-1200 or click structuredfoundation.com.
The year is not so new anymore, but your carpets can look that way with Zero Res. Hey, Mark Davis, my friends at Zero Res just gave me a fantastic carpet cleaning, and I'm offering it to you. $33 a room. $33 a room by calling 214-37-CLEAN. Then, plus 100 square feet of tile cleaning for free and a $50 gift card from Estilo Gaucho. It is pre-treated, clean, and sanitized. Best carpet cleaning ever from my friends at Zero Res. $33 a room. Call them now for the special. 214-37-CLEAN for Zero Res. 214-37-CLEAN.
660 AM The Answer. KSKY in Balch Springs, Dallas, Fort Worth. The official radio station of Decision 2016. The most important election of our lifetime.
Fox News Radio, I'm Karen McHugh. He may have been the only presidential candidate to not address the AIPAC conference, but Senator Bernie Sanders aired his views on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict anyway.
But I firmly believe that the only prospect for peace is the successful negotiation of a two-state solution.
Sanders was stumping in Salt Lake City. Utah holds its GOP caucus tomorrow, while Arizona holds their winner-take-all primary. Meanwhile, in Washington, Donald Trump met with GOP lawmakers in an effort to shore up support from within.
About 24 people, many current and former lawmakers, including former Speaker of the House Newt Gingrich, met with Donald Trump inside a high-priced law firm near the Capitol, part of an effort to show the businessman and political outsider can work with political insiders.
Fox's Jaron Halpern. A judge grants a request by the feds to scrap a hearing with Apple. The FBI may have found a way to hack the San Bernardino terrorist iPhone after all. Fox News, we report, you decide.
660 AM The Answer. Listen on iHeartRadio.
Veterans have given us the freedoms we live by each day. That's why Starkey Mortgage and 660 AM The Answer bring you the Veteran of the Month. If you know a veteran who deserves this honor, then go to 660amtheanswer.com and nominate them to be the 660 AM The Answer Starkey Mortgage Veteran of the Month. Winners will visit the studio, meet hosts Mark Davis and Jon-David Wells, and receive a prize from Starkey Mortgage. Go to 660amtheanswer.com to nominate your veteran. Starkey Mortgage is an equal housing lender, NMLS number 2146. This is not a commitment to lend. Specific underwriting guidelines must be met.
This is Michael Medved for townhall.com. Major polls seem to agree that the two most unpopular politicians in the country are Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. The latest Wall Street Journal poll shows 49% of Americans holding strongly negative views of Mr. Trump, with only 11% who feel strongly positive. In other words, by a ratio of nearly 5-1, more people hate him than love him. Secretary Clinton did only slightly better, with 17% strongly positive and 39% strongly negative. The lesson is that the current system of primaries and caucuses does a lousy job of picking candidates who can unite the country and restore public confidence. After this nasty and exhausting campaign, leaders of both parties should come together to rethink the entire process, making it shorter, more focused on issues, and less dominated by polarization, showmanship, and boisterous brawling in the style of professional wrestling. I'm Michael Medved.
Learn more at townhallreview.com. Think you're fat? You might just be bloated. Find out by calling now for a free trial of New Biotics, the new breakthrough that flattens bloated bellies fast. For a free trial, call 1-800-655-3232.
I used to be plagued by potbelly and constant bloating. After taking New Biotics, my belly flattened and continues to get flatter. My sense of bloating and discomfort is gone.
If you've got a big belly, you might not be fat. You might just be bloated. New Biotics is scientifically formulated with natural ingredients to flatten bloated bellies fast by cleansing pounds of rotting food and toxic sludge from your body. It even combats periodic heartburn and acid reflux. So just think how much better you'll look and feel. Think you might be bloated? Call now for a free trial of New Biotics and see how much flatter it makes your belly. You might be surprised, but hurry, call now for details while these free trials last. 1-800-655-3232. That's 1-800-655-3232. 1-800-655-3232.
If your credit card debt is out of control, if you're in over your head dealing with monthly payments, there's a powerful secret the credit card companies don't want you to know. If you have more than $5,000 in credit card debt, you have the right to settle that debt for a fraction of what you owe. That's bad news for credit card companies, but it's great news for you. We're Credit Associates, and we're offering you free information on how to virtually eliminate your credit card debt and make your monthly payment affordable. You'd save. Call now, 1-800-700-3515. Don't declare bankruptcy. Give us 10 minutes and we could save you thousands. We depend on your success and offer a guarantee, so there's no risk. Credit Associates. Live better debt-free. Find out how easy it is by calling now. For the secret the credit card companies don't want you to know, call Credit Associates now and see how much money you could save for free. Call 1-800-700-3515. That's 1-800-700-3515.
You know, I'm not a genius about money. I love my credit cards, and they love me. I was using them as a source of income, and then I got behind in my payments, and creditors were calling. I figured I had a problem, and I didn't know how to deal with it. I heard about Trinity, so I called and talked to a counselor. In half an hour, we worked out a plan. Now I've got one easy monthly payment, a lower interest rate, and I'm getting out of debt.
If you're in an endless cycle of paying on credit card balances that never seem to go away, then get ready for a toll-free number that will put you on a path to financial recovery. Trinity will consolidate your accounts, put a stop to late fees and over-limit charges, reduce your interest, and possibly improve your credit score. You'll save thousands. If your debt has you down, we should talk. Call 1-800-936-5348. That's 1-800-936-5348. Call 1-800-936-5348.
As a listener to this station, you've heard a variety of companies advertising their products and services, many of them for a number of years.
I'm Walt Parker with InvestingMakesMeSick.com. I've gotten absolutely great results. No matter who's advertising, it definitely pays off. Doesn't matter what business they're in. I think they'll find it's going to be very rewarding.
My name is John Duncan, and I'm the CEO and founder of Bioscan of Los Colinas. It's simply the most effective advertising that I can do. I've advertised for the last 14 years on television, radio, and newspaper, and advertising with 660 gets the best results.
Hi, I'm Marcia West, Senior Account Manager for 660 AM The Answer. For 20 years, I've worked with companies, both big and small, to create cost-effective radio campaigns that get results. Let me do the same for you. Contact me today at mwest@ksky.com. That's mwest@ksky.com. I want to help you grow your business.
Dallas, Fort Worth's home for stimulating talk. 660 AM, The Answer. Is anybody out there paying attention to what's going on in this country, in this state, and in this city? We know one man who is. You got questions? He's got answers. This is The Wells Report with Jon-David Wells on 660 AM, The Answer.
You are listening to The Wells Report. My name is Jon-David Wells. Our telephone number is 866-660-5759. That's 866-660-5759. Do you know the name Curly Hogland? You know who Curly Hogland is? Curly Hogland, strangely enough, is not the large stature bald guy in a bunch of short subject films of the 1930s. Not that Curly. I'm talking about another Curly. Curly Hogland is a Republican National Committee member. He's part of the group of guys that are leading the Republican Party, if you can call it that. He said something the other day that you need to be aware of if you are not already, and I'm not exactly sure that you are aware of what I'm about to say. Now remember, I'm a Ted Cruz guy. I voted for Ted Cruz. I believe Ted Cruz is the right guy. But there are some people that are trying to work their way through getting this nomination essentially stolen from Donald Trump, who is the clear frontrunner in this amazing 2016 Republican presidential race. It's amazing. We've never seen anything like it. It's great. This is great for everyone if we allow it to be. However, Curly Hogland is one of those people that's standing in the way of all this. What he said is the nomination process is pretty straightforward. The party, not the voters, choose the nominee. Now, Hogland's from North Dakota, and he's a member of the RNC Rules Committee. He would be one of the guys that sits around and comes up with rules that would derail Donald Trump. Now, this is something that I've touched on before, but I never, ever heard of anybody saying it out loud. Not just Curly Hogland is saying this. From what I understand, there is someone else who's also said this, Diana Arick, a delegate from Nevada. She's a Donald Trump supporter. People are under the misconception that it's the results of the caucus and the results of the primary that determine who becomes the nominee. In actuality, it's the delegates at the national convention. I understand all that. But just exactly what do you think would happen if somebody puts together a power broker deal to disenfranchise millions upon millions upon millions of primary votes for any primary candidate? I think there'd be a riot. Joining us is Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, who is someone that I find myself agreeing with most of the time and more day after day. He came up with something that I wanted to talk to him about. First of all, Lieutenant Governor, thanks very much for joining us. Welcome to the Wells Report.
Absolutely. Good evening, Dave.
Good for you on this press release. You announced that, first of all, you're going to be a delegate at the National Republican Convention, but you're saying that you're going to fight any effort that would disenfranchise millions of voters who have cast ballots and continue to cast ballots in the primary process. The Republican GOP leadership trying to say that, well, it's not a done deal. If the people are disenfranchised in this way, is there any reason to support the Republican Party for any reason anytime in the future?
Well, and Jon-David, if folks have not been on, they can go to my Facebook page. We've had 190,000 people view our interview with Neil Cavuto. That was from, I think I was on the show Thursday or Friday. Can't remember. It was on Friday. I was with Neil, and we put out the press release simultaneously. And here's my position, and what I said on the show and in the press release. And I too, look, as chair of the Cruz campaign in Texas, I'm obviously for Ted. My point is there are only two people right now that the people of America, through 30 primaries, have said they want as their nominee. Donald Trump is in the lead and Ted is second. And even in the states where Ted has finished second, it's been very close. It could be even much closer. The point is, both of those two make up for over 70% of the total vote that's been cast, approximately, and they're both outsiders. And the elite in Washington and the elite in the party are petrified about having someone who's not one of them be our nominee, whether it be Trump or Cruz. And the proof of that, Jon-David, is there's this big anti-Trump movement right now. Well, wouldn't they naturally be coalescing around Ted Cruz? They're not, because they don't want Ted either. And so what they're floating this idea of Paul Ryan, Mitt Romney, some third, person floating in from somewhere that they're going to parachute in the convention and say, here's the person. And what I said on the Cavuto show and in my press release is that as Lieutenant Governor of Texas and a delegate at the upcoming convention, I will fight from the floor, I think with a lot of other Texans, and say, we're not going to have any of that. It's either Ted Cruz or Donald Trump. And that will work itself out. That's on the assumption that neither gets 1237. Now, either could, but they might not. Look, it's going to be hard for both of them to get 1237, quite frankly. So if we go to a contested convention, they're going to be the leading two vote getters. And it should be up to them to work it out and up to the delegates to the convention to work it out between those two. And when I say work it out, Jon-David, for example, there's some talk on Fox tonight. Is Cruz going to partner up with Marco Rubio? He said that the story is inaccurate, and it may well be. And I'm on the team, but I haven't heard that either, by the way. But let's say Cruz makes a deal with Marco to be vice president, and Marco throws his support. Well, suddenly Ted has almost as many delegates as Donald Trump has. Or does Donald Trump make a deal with Rubio or John Kasich to be VP, or does Secretary of Defense, or whatever it is? In other words, those two will figure it out. They might even make a deal with each other at the end of the day. Who knows? But I don't want any other name being thrown into the mix, because at the end of these other 20 primaries that we're going to go through, those two are going to be at the top. One of them's going to have more delegates than the other, but it's going to be fairly close, I believe, within a couple of hundred votes, and they should be the ones to be nominated, not anyone else. And again, I prefer it to be Cruz. I think Ted has a great chance to get it on the second ballot or third ballot, quite frankly. We can talk about why that is, but it ought to be one of those two. And if it's Donald Trump, then I'm all in. If he's our nominee, I'm going to be all in to support him, because I'll take a capitalist over a socialist any day of the week.
Yeah, absolutely.
We can't have Hillary Clinton in the White House. Absolutely.
We are speaking with Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, and a socialist progressive in the form of Hillary Clinton would be a disaster for this country, and there's no doubt about it. So let's talk a little bit about this. Okay, so you think that it's a possibility that Ted could come away with a nomination on a second or third ballot. This is assuming that Donald Trump does not get all of the delegates necessary in the upcoming process. Now, what would you say to Donald Trump supporters who hear you say that and say, okay, this is going to get stolen from Donald Trump at the last moment?
Here's what I would say about that, and let's flip-flop it. Let's say that Ted finished with, just for devil's advocate, let's say he had more delegates going into the convention than Donald. I would say the same thing, because the convention, you have to get 1237. It's not whoever has the most going in. Now, if someone's only 5 or 10 delegates away, maybe that's another story. But if neither is within 150 or 200 delegates, then it's up to the delegates at the convention, and it's up to those two candidates, just like Reagan and Ford worked it out. It's not up to Reince Priebus and the Republican Party, or it's not up to Mitt Romney, or it's not up to Paul Ryan or John Boehner or some delegate in North Dakota to say, we're going to bring in someone else who hasn't been through this process, and we're going to anoint them, and that's the only person we're going to support. First of all, I think they'll fall flat on their face, because I don't think the delegates will go for it, despite the fact of what this person in North Dakota said. I don't think that will happen. And so here's what I would say to the Trump people, and the same thing applies to the Cruz people, is that if neither has 1237 on the first ballot, and let's assume Donald has more delegates going in for sake of argument, we get to the second ballot, and then delegates will start having to make a choice. And Donald will go to Cruz delegates, and his people will, trying to convince them to switch for him. And Cruz and his team will go to Trump delegates and try to get them to switch to him. They'll both be going to Kasich and Rubio, who have delegates, and trying to get those people to switch to them. What I'm saying is, however that works it out, but it must be between those two. And the Trump people can't get angry if Ted ends up convincing delegates of the convention to change, and the Cruz people can't get angry if Trump convinces people to change. The reason I think Ted would win it on the second or third ballot is this reason, assuming, again, Jon-David, that there's no deal work, because as soon as a deal is worked between either of them and Rubio or Kasich, that could tilt the windmill pretty quickly. One of them could even have enough delegates before the convention, for example, if they don't get the delegates during the primaries, but they could go into Cleveland in late July and already have struck a deal with Rubio or Kasich so that they actually have enough delegates immediately on the second ballot. So, but if none of those deals happen, the reason I think Ted is in better shape is Ted is actually getting delegates committed to him to go to the state conventions. And for people who don't know how this works, this Saturday we had our convention. It happens in two tiers, for example, in Texas and other states. The first thing is we'll have a state convention, which we'll have in Dallas this year in May. And so this past Saturday, we had 31 conventions around the state that any citizen could go to. I went and spoke to 7 of them. Any citizen can go to, and it's by 31 congressional districts. So Senate districts. So every senator, so your area, there was one for Jane Nelson, there was one for Kelly Hancock, one for Van Taylor, all of your Bob Hall, Donald Hoffines. Some of them, if their districts are big enough, have more than one place, but there's a convention for each of those Senate districts. And people become delegates to our state convention in May in Dallas. In May, when the 10,000 citizens get there, and they're regular folks that are listening to your show right now, the regular folks who go to the convention, then they break up into congressional districts. So there are 36 congressional districts, and you go, so whatever congressional district you live in, Jon-David, for example, you would go and you'd stand up in front of all your neighbors there and you'd say, I want to be a delegate to the convention in Cleveland, and I'm going to be a delegate for Ted Cruz or Donald Trump. I don't think there'll be many for John Kasich in Texas. And then your neighbors and your friends who live there with you in your district, they vote for you or they don't. And we pick 3, and we pick 3 alternates. That's how the delegates are chosen. But once upon a time, Jon-David, it was the elite hand-picking people to be delegates.
Yes.
Today, the average voter is so much smarter than they were in the past because they have so much more information. They're so much more independent because of that. They have social media allows them to connect. So I believe that the people who will go to Cleveland will be more likely to be Cruz people who are running for these positions. And here's the last point on this to give you the comparison.
I tell you what, Lieutenant Governor, we've got to take a break.
Okay, take a break.
Hey, thank you very much. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick joining us on the Wells Report, taking us through the process of putting a candidate up for a presidential nomination. You're listening to the Wells Report. This is 660 AM, The Answer.
Dennis Gibbs, the boat guy here, host of the Big Boat and Outdoor Show, sponsored by DallasBoatsForSale.com. Let me break it down for you. We talk about boats and boating, boat ramps, marinas, lakes and water levels, boat sales, sailboats, sailing, anchoring, sinking, grounding, buying, selling, and enjoying the fun out on the water. You picking up what I'm putting down? If it floats, we talk about it every Saturday at 6 p.m. right here on 660 AM The Answer.
You need a plan as you get closer to retirement. A plan that'll take you from where you are now to the retirement that you've always dreamed about. The first step on that path is to tune into the Wealth Smart Radio Show, Sundays at 7 a.m. right here on 660 AM The Answer. You only get to retire once, so it's really important you do it right. And your host, Reed Johnson, president of Lake Point Advisory Group, helps people retire successfully every day. So don't miss Wealth Smart every Sunday at 7 a.m. right here on 660 AM The Answer.
Hey, everybody, Mark Davis from my friends at Walker AC. The AC stands for air conditioning. It'll be a little while before we need that again. In the meantime, it's heat that is at issue. And let me tell you, Walker AC is my heating company as well. Walker Air Conditioning and Heating at walkerac.com and the magic phone number 972-4, Walker, 972-4-Walker. These are the people to go to when your system needs fixing, when your system needs replacing. They're never going to sell you a system you don't need. They're going to do the repairs right at a fair price. If they can't fix it, they'll tell you about it and introduce you to the best price on the best system for you. It's people you can trust. Isn't that what it's all about? Trust with AC and heating, and Walker AC is there for you at walkerac.com and 972-4-WALKER, 972, the number 4, Walker. If something's just not working right, if things are chilly when they shouldn't be, your heater's not working, give them a call, 972-4, the number 4, Walker, 972-4-WALKER, or walkerac.com.
Ladies and gentlemen.
And the Grammy goes to. And the American Music Award goes to.
And the Grammy goes to.
And the Grammy goes to.
Mr. Stephen Curtis Chapman. career spanning over 3 decades, Stephen Curtis Chapman has pretty much done it all, except for one thing.
Hi, we're Third Day.
Be a member of Third Day? One night where 2 of our industry's top performers literally merge into each other's bands to play each other's songs that you've loved for years. Our sister station's doing it again. The 94.9 KLTY Concert Series welcomes Stephen Curtis Chapman with Third Day at the Verizon Theater on April 30th.
We're forming sort of one new band called SCC 3D, I think is what we're calling it.
You'll probably never see anything like this again. Get your tickets right now at AXS.com. That's AXS.com. One night you'll never forget. Get your tickets right now at AXS.com.
Pop quiz for all business owners. If you're not incorporated and someone sues your business, which one of these can you lose? Your home, your car, or your life savings? The answer? All 3. Because if you're not incorporated, it's not just your business that can be sued, it's you too, which means you could lose everything. Once business owners realize the risk of not being incorporated, they usually scramble to incorporate or form an LLC. To make it quick and easy, Incorporate.com is now giving away a free incorporation guide to all business owners, so you can incorporate in just 10 minutes. For your free 10-minute incorporation guide, call now, 1-800-400-5017. Protect your financial future at Incorporate. Legal or financial advice, they just make incorporating or forming an LLC quick and easy. Call now for your free 10-minute incorporation guide. 1-800-400-5017. Hurry while supplies last. 1-800-400-5017. That's 1-800-400-5017.
Are you suffering with hearing loss? Are you sick of people constantly complaining that your TV is too loud? Are you tired of asking people to speak up? Would you like to hear more clearly, but you don't want to wear a hearing aid that makes you look old? Then you need to try Listen Clear, a life-changing breakthrough precisely designed by top audio engineers to fit your ear almost invisibly. And you can adjust Listen Clear to find the perfect way to hear everything, wherever you are and whatever you're doing. And right now you can try Listen Clear absolutely free with free shipping. We'll even give you free batteries for life. So call now, 1-800-700-5105. Listen Clear is lightweight and completely hassle-free, and it's practically invisible. Call for your 100% free home trial with free shipping and free batteries for life. For free information, call now, 1-800-700-5105. That's 1-800-700-5105. 1-800-700-5105.
Learn a little something at the start of your day. The Mark Davis Show. Mornings 7 to 10 on 660 AM. The Answer. The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. The Wells Report with Jon-David Wells on 660 AM. The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. Jon-David Wells at your service. Joining us is Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, talking about how, first, he would support anyone who has the right number of delegates against having those delegates taken away or re-ruled or what have you. He and I feel the exact same way. We're both Ted Cruz supporters, but both of us standing up for whoever the leader is going into the nomination process. Certainly if Donald Trump gets there with the most delegates, then any kind of hanky-panky that goes on at the convention that isn't right down the center line going to be opposed by both of us. And again, Lieutenant Governor, it's great to be in agreement with you. I really enjoy that these days.
Well, thank you, Jon-David, and forgive to your audience. I've got some allergies, a lot of people do. It's very interesting. I'm in Washington, D.C. for a lieutenant governor's conference, and the hotel I happen to be in is right across from the White House. I'm looking out my window at the White House, and I couldn't help but think when I checked in today, who will be living there this time next year? It will be one of 3 people: Ted Cruz, Donald Trump, or Hillary Clinton. And it better not be Hillary. And, of course, I hope it's Ted. But if Donald's nominee, I'll do everything I can to help him win. But I want to go back to this thing on delegates without getting in the weeds here. So for people joining us, there's to become a delegate, it's 3 steps. It's first going to your state conventions. All of the states have them. We had ours Saturday. And people get elected to your state convention, and they'll go to the state convention, and they'll stand up in whatever congressional district you live in. You stand up, and you make your case. You have a minute to speak, and you make your case to, probably might be 400 or 500 people who live in your district with you. You don't know them. You might know 3 or 4 of them, but you make your case on why you want to be a delegate. and 3 will get voted in each congressional district, and 3 alternates. I did the same thing as a senator. I had to stand up and ask for people to vote for me as well. I went to Minnesota and I went to Tampa. Well, what happened, Jon-David, in both of those conventions, particularly in Tampa, what happened was Ron Paul sent a lot of young college students to the convention. So they went to the first level and got elected as delegates to the state convention, which is fairly easy to do. We have 10,000 people who will go. It's bigger than the national convention. But then he got his young college students to, he got, enough in each congressional district to run and support that particular person. So Ron Paul never won a state, never won enough votes to actually have like a real delegate. I mean, maybe 1 or 2. I mean, you maybe had a few.
Right.
But at the convention, I would estimate that 20 to 25% of the delegates in Tampa were Ron Paul delegates. In other words, if it had gone to the second ballot, once you're free, in the first ballot, you have to be committed to who your state's elected. But on the second ballot, he would have had 1 out of every 4 delegates be for him. So that was his idea. That's why we have this quote rule called Rule 40 that Mitt Romney was behind. And Rule 40, you have to have won 8 states with a majority to be put in nomination. And that was because Romney was afraid if for some reason he didn't get the nomination beforehand with enough delegates, if he got to the convention, that was his way of keeping Ron Paul out of the nomination process. So he got that rule put in specifically for that. So what I was saying in the last segment about, I think Ted will have more delegates, Ted will have a lot of people going to the convention who will be Ted Cruz delegates. Now, they may be in states that Donald Trump won, and they'll have to vote for Donald Trump the first time around. But once you get to the second ballot, they're free.
Right.
And they will lean more to, because that's a whole organization. In other words, you have to build that and make that happen.
Right.
And Donald Trump has not built a ground game. Now, at the same time, Donald will have a lot of support there too, and he could end up winning it too, again, if he cuts a deal with Rubio or Kasich, just like Ted could. The point is that the nominee in our convention, as I sit here tonight, I don't know who it will be. I don't know who's going to have the most delegates. I don't know if either one's going to get 1237 before the convention, but it should only be one of those two, no one else. Because, look, you and I know, and your audience knows, it's not going to be John Kasich. I mean, the Trump people aren't going to switch their votes to Kasich, and neither are the Cruz people. But in our internal polling, I can share this number with you, in the internal polling for Ted Cruz, the second choice for Ted Cruz voters is Donald Trump. And the second choice, and the second choice for Donald Trump is Ted Cruz. So Donald Trump people won't be happy if he doesn't get it, but I think they'd support Ted if it's an honest, if that's the way it works at the convention, if those two battle it out and one of them wins. In the same token, Ted Cruz people aren't going to be happy if he doesn't get it, like me, because I think he's the most qualified. But if Donald Trump wins, I'm all in for Donald. But if you tell me I have to vote for Paul Ryan, I'm walking out of the convention.
Yeah.
Or Mitt Romney, give me a break, will you?
Sure, I understand.
These guys would lose. They'd fall flat on their face because it'll be the demise of the Republican Party if anybody other than Cruz or Trump.
I agree, 100%. Last thing, let's talk a little bit quickly about Kasich. He needs to get out of the race, does he not?
Yeah, this is a joke. I got in here, I checked in the hotel before dinner tonight, and I saw him on Fox. I'm thinking, what is he drinking? First of all, there ought to be a rule that once you get to a certain point in the nomination process, if you mathematically can't win, you have to suspend your campaign. I mean, this is a joke. He has to get 107% of the delegates to win.
Exactly.
Well, you can't get 107%.
Right.
And so his only play is, and Brett Baer, I'll give Brett Baer a lot of credit because he asked him these tough questions that I would have asked. He said, okay, so you're going to go to the convention. You can't win 1237 mathematically. You can't do it. So you're going to go to the convention. Why do you think Donald Trump and Ted Cruz supporters in the second or third ballot would vote for you? He said, well, I'm experienced, and I really look. If you had sold the American people on that, you wouldn't be where you are. So John Kasich doesn't. The only reason John Kasich is in the race is one of two things. One is he's already cut a deal with Donald Trump to be vice president.
Yikes.
Or maybe Ted. I don't think so. I don't know that. But he's it doesn't make sense that he would have already carved a deal out with Ted because he would be out of there because Ted, if Kasich had been in North Carolina, Cruz wins. If Kasich hadn't been in a number of states, Cruz wins. If Kasich is out, I think Cruz does get to 1237 because he beats Donald head up in most of the states, not all of them, based on the polling. So the only reason Kasich is in is because he's a straw man for Donald Trump, or because he actually believes his own gibberish that he's going to get to the convention and after 3 or 4 or 5 ballots, they'll pick him. And I just think that's foolish.
Lieutenant Governor, thank you so much for your time, and thanks very much for taking us through the process. We appreciate it. Go, Ted, go. Thanks very much for all your hard work for we, the people of the United States, and, of course, Ted Cruz supporters.
Hey, thank you, Jon-David. It's important to Texas who the next president is in so many levels. We need a president who understands the oil and gas industry and loves it and hugs it and protects it and grows it, and we need someone who will secure the border. And I believe Ted's the guy, and I'm going to be working hard for him. But if he's not the guy, as Ted has said candidly, he'll be supporting Donald too. Look, we all have to be together. When this is over, again, as long as they don't parachute a third person in, we all have to get together and beat Hillary Clinton.
Indeed. That is Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick joining us on the Wells Report. This is 660 AM The Answer.
Hey, does the idea of having your home sold on time without hassle and for top dollar, does that seem unrealistic to you? Hey, Dallas, it's your friend Sean Hannity, one real estate agent to sell your home guaranteed. That's Josh DeShong of Josh DeShong Real Estate at Keller Williams. Josh averages hundreds of local, national, and international buyers every single week. Now, that means your home sells on time at a price that you agreed to, guaranteed, or Josh will buy it. Josh's clients voted, and both D Magazine and Texas Monthly ranked him as the best real estate agent in Dallas. Real estate mogul and Shark Tank star Barbara Corcoran only recommends Josh in DFW. And if I lived in Dallas and needed my home sold, guess what? I'd call Josh DeShong, and you should too. Call Josh now at 972-325-6644 or go online at getsold.net. That's 972-325-6644 or getsold.net and start packing.
If you've got a 401k, an IRA, or a pension plan, I've got some really bad news for you. The IRS wants you to think that these so-called qualified plans are the best way to save for retirement. They give you a tax break when you contribute. Sounds pretty good, right? Wrong. A qualified plan is almost the worst thing you could do because you'll be taxed out of your gourd when you retire and actually need the money. There's a better way. It's an IRS-approved way to fund retirement savings that beats the pants off your qualified plan. It's been around for years. Your money grows tax-free, but has no taxes at retirement, die, and no taxes when passed on to your heirs. Oh, by the way, there is no risk that your money will lose principal. Even when the market tanks like it did in 2008, you lose nothing. Call for a free book at 1-800-551-8497. That's 1-800-551-8497. The book explains exactly what this retirement savings vehicle is, how it's superior to your qualified plan, and how your money is never at risk. Call 800-551-8497. That's 800-551-8497.
We all know carrying a lot of credit card debt is a hassle. You're constantly managing multiple payments, and if you miss one, your interest rates may go up. Avant can help you take control by consolidating credit card debt with an unsecured personal loan. You'll make just one fixed payment a month. Simply go to avantoffer.com and check your rate. Checking your rate is risk-free with no effect on your FICO score. Complete your application in minutes, and the funds could be in your account as soon as tomorrow. Avant will give you a $50 Amazon.com gift card after you make your first payment on time. For this offer and to check your rate risk-free, go to avantoffer.com and enter the promo code BORROW. That's AVANT offer.com, promo code BORROW. Avantoffer.com, promo code BORROW. Loans made by WebBank. Funds are generally deposited via ACH for delivery next business day if approved by 4:30 p.m. Central Time, Monday through Friday. FICO is a registered trademark of Fair Isaac Corporation. Amazon is not a sponsor of this promotion. Other restrictions apply. See website for details.
Guys, are you tired of being tired? Frustrated because it seems impossible to lose belly fat? If you're looking for a solution, then listen to Mark.
I had fantastic results with the Andro 400 Max. Probably lost 35 pounds, and more impressive than that was the inches I lost off of my belly and my waist. And the increased energy is fantastic. I'll be totally honest, I tried a different product, and I wasn't happy with the different product. You guys are considerably cheaper than the other brand, and I can really feel the difference.
Andro 400 Max, the extra strength, all natural testosterone booster. The safe, easy, and affordable way to gain energy and lose stubborn belly fat. Satisfaction guaranteed or your money back. Feel and look like a new man. Go to andro400.com or call 888-400-0435. 888-400-0435.
Listen to us live on iHeartRadio, 660 AM. The Answer. If it's important to you, it's on the Wells Report on 660 AM. The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is Jon-David Wells. Our telephone number 866-660-5759. 866-660-5759. And so you have heard the party people saying that Donald Trump would be a terrible thing for the party. I think that would be the exact opposite. I think that the Republican Party is changing in spite of its own leadership. And those people like Curly, what's his name, and some others who are saying that, hey, you know what? It's not the people who vote in primaries that pick the nominees. It's the conventions. You know, that's a real good way to not have conventions. I mean, that's a real good way to lose the whole shooting match right there. Because I got to tell you something. I don't care which side of the aisle you are on. I don't care whether you're a Democrat or a Republican. The process that we use for picking our nominees isn't working well. Now, you got to be, I mean, look at it from the Republican side. On the Republican side, you've got a guy who is clearly the front runner. He's gotten clearly the most votes. Clearly the will of the people, at least so far, are behind Donald Trump. Unless he goes into a summer swoon, the likes of which no one has hardly ever seen, he'll probably end up with the right number of delegates or very close to it. On the other hand, Republicans are planning on taking the next 100 days and trying to run against Donald Trump. They're going to start with an aggressive battle in the Wisconsin primary. That's April 5th. And then they're going to extend that into the summer. And they're going to go delegate by delegate to try to cast Mr. Trump as a calamitous choice for the general election. The problem with that is what about we the people? Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick is absolutely correct when he said it would be the demise of the Republican Party. He is absolutely correct. Absolutely. Anti-Trump forces say that there is no longer any room for error or delay. They may be looking at a Trump who is unstoppable. And you know what? If that's the will of the people, their efforts should be unstoppable. As far as Ted Cruz is concerned, another little bit of news that you may not have heard is that Mitt Romney came out to support Ted Cruz in the Utah primary, which is good news. I'm happy about that. Now, I don't know what this means in this very confusing situation. Maybe it means that Mitt Romney is going to be the first guy in the Republican Party to wake up and realize that they need to comport to the will of the people. Because what it looks like right this very moment, it looks like Mitt Romney is trying to cuddle up to anybody that will have him. Now, I don't know what's going to happen with Romney and Cruz. That's a better. Well, I was going to say that's a better ticket, but probably isn't. Marco Rubio has rejected the unity party candidate idea of being Ted Cruz's running mate, which I think is probably a mistake. You know, it may be that Marco Rubio's just tired of politics. Because I doubt very sincerely that he's going to be reelected for the Senate. And I'm reasonably sure that he is also going to be in a position here where he's going to be on the outside looking in. But what we do have to have is we do have to have a political process that is beholden to and powered by the people, not by the kingmakers the elitists, etc. There's some other news in the Republican Party that I ought to share with you, and so I will. Donald Trump has outlined an unabashedly non-interventionalist approach to world affairs. He told the Washington Post editorial board he questions the need for the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, which formed the backbone of Western security policies since the Cold War. This from the Washington Post. Speaking ahead of a major address on foreign policy in front of the American Israel Public Affairs Committee. By the way, that speech has already happened. Trump said he advocates a light footprint in the world in spite of unrest abroad, especially in the Middle East. Trump said the United States must look inward and steer its resources towards rebuilding domestic infrastructure. I do think it's a different world today. I don't think we should be nation building anymore. I think it's proven not to work, and I think we have a different country than we did then. We have $19 trillion in debt. We're probably sitting on a bubble. If that bubble breaks, it's going to get very nasty. I think we have to rebuild our country. I watched as we built schools in Iraq, and they're blown up. We build another one, it gets blown up. We build it 3 times. We can't build a school in Brooklyn. We've got no money for education. Hang on a second. He says this. I know what the answer on this is. He says, we have no money for education. We can't build in our own country. At what point do you say, hey, we got to take care of ourselves? Mr. Trump, I don't know whether you're saying this because you don't know any better, but I'm going to assume that you're missing the idea that in point of fact, we throw more money at our school system than any other country on the planet. Money is not the issue. The issue is the people who are getting all that money out of the system, specifically the system itself. The most socialist thing we have in our nation is not Obamacare. The most socialist thing we have in our nation is the public school system. And the public school system is socialist because it can be, which is why we have a 1-to-1 teacher-administrator ratio. At least a 1-to-1 teacher-administrator ratio. There is an entire layer of school personnel that has no business being in school. And it's all there because, well, the money's there, and gosh, you know, these are union gigs and on and on and on. Well, I'm sorry. If you want to talk about the reason why we can't build schools in Brooklyn, Mr. Trump, you need to start looking at the number of people that are working in those old schools in Brooklyn. Donald Trump was supposed to meet with Republican leaders to try to improve his relations with those folks today. That's a good step in the right direction. I think that's a fine plan because at some point, regardless of whether or not it's Donald Trump or Ted Cruz, the Republican Party is going to have to figure out that they've got to come together. They got to be in a situation where they've got to stop being these supposed kingmakers that can just wave their magic wands and make things happen. You know, the Republican Party has totally screwed this up because they are capable of it, and they are proving beyond a shadow of a doubt that they are in over their heads. Republican leadership is outmoded, outdated. The game has passed them by, and they don't know it yet. But Trump is meeting with them to try to put them all together and get them moving in the right direction. I don't know whether he's going to be successful or not, but if he's as good a deal maker as he says he is, well, he's going to have to use all of his skill to make that happen. I find it absolutely annoying beyond all possible perspective that Donald Trump has to not only run against the Republican Party, but also the Democrats and anybody else that happens to believe that he's the wrong guy for the job. As if the Republican Party could come up with the right guy for the job, was something they have failed to do 4 out of 5 times. Let's see. Carly Fiorina has come out to say that I am voting for Ted Cruz. I ran for president because I believe it's time to take our country back from Washington and restore power to the people. I still believe that. In fact, I believe it more than ever. It's time to challenge and reform the system that has put too much economic and political power in the hands of too few. It's time to put a real constitutional conservative in the White House. My husband and I'm talking about Carly Fiorina, who wrote this, live in Virginia, where we had a primary recently. While my own name was on the ballot, I checked the box for Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz is a leader and reformer who isn't afraid to ruffle feathers when he's fighting for the American people. When Republicans lost the last presidential election, the Republican establishment thought it knew what to do. Pass comprehensive immigration reform, stop talking about social issues, go along, get along, don't fight for real change. They stood by our government as it grew increasingly incompetent and increasingly corrupt. Then all of a sudden, Ted Cruz pops up. They didn't predict that against all the odds. Texas had just elected a senator who is a true constitutional conservative, a real reformer who definitely doesn't care if Washington invites him to their cocktail parties. That's good. Mitt Romney announced that he's voting for Ted Cruz as well. In his post, he decried frontrunner Donald Trump's politics as Trumpism instead of Republicanism. He accused this ideology of promoting racism, xenophobia, and violence, which I think is ridiculous. There is no racism in trying to get people that are living in your country out of your country. That isn't racist. That's called leadership and governance and doing the right thing, not from a political standpoint, but from a legal standpoint. And when you have a political system that sets aside legalities for the sake of politics, you're doing the wrong thing. And that's what's missing in Mitt Romney's whole act these last couple of months. By the way, in case you're wondering, Romney's keeping his powder dry. While he said he was going to vote for Ted Cruz in the Utah primary, he stopped short of explicitly endorsing him. And I know why that is. And you do too. Because he's thinking there might be a gig in it somewhere down the road. He might have a shot at this one more time. Look, I think Mitt Romney's an excellent guy. I think he's a superb candidate. I just don't believe that people want Mitt Romney in the White House as the president or even as the vice president. I'd like to see him run for the Senate. I think he'd be a fine senator, but I don't know that that's what he wants. So as things get together, as things move forward, things get a little clearer in some cases and a little more murky in others. It's American politics, messy and fun. This is the Wells Report on 660 AM The Answer. You remember Allen West. He's now former Congressman Allen West. You know why he is listed as a former congressman? Well, because conservative members of the House of Representatives elected by the Tea Party movement were targeted by a progressive liberal phone company, a cell phone company that raised $3 million to beat what they called the Tea Party 10. They were successful. One of the guys they got was Allen West. Where did they get their money? Where did they get that $3 million, this progressive liberal cell phone company? From you. That's right. From you. Remember Obama phone? That was a payoff, a political payoff by President Obama to these same cell phone companies who got their money from you. I'm Jon-David Wells from the Wells Report. Patriot Mobile is a conservative phone company. They take their money, 5% of every dollar they receive from you, and fight conservative candidates and conservative causes. Just like your current phone number, Patriot Mobile offers the same great nationwide talk and text, 4G LTE data services, and popular phones. And I did say your phone number. You don't have to give up your telephone number. You don't have to give up anything. You're getting the same quality. You're getting the same everything. Well, actually, it's not exactly the same. You will pay less money. Yeah. If you call 1-800-A-PATRIOT right now, you'll get your choice of a Samsung Galaxy S5 or an Apple phone 5S when you sign up for one of Patriot Mobile's unlimited talk, text, and data plans for just $50 a month. You've got to hurry. This offer is good only while supplies last. Patriot Mobile, the conservative choice for mobile phone service. 1-800-A-PATRIOT. Get in touch with them at patriotmobile.com. 1-800-A-PATRIOT. Call right now. Tell them you heard about it on the Wells Report.
If it's important to you, it's on the Wells Report with Jon-David Wells on 660 AM. The Answer.
If you're over the age of 50 and considering buying an annuity in the next 60 days, I have some urgent news for you. Don't buy an annuity until you understand the pros and cons of annuities. A free book to help you maximize your retirement income from PBS host and three-time author Josh Melberg has been released. This book reveals little-known truths about annuity strategies in simple-to-understand terms. Grab a pen right now because we're about to offer you this free book that unlocks the 5 little-known secrets we believe baby boomers and seniors should know before buying an annuity. Call 800-644-3169 now to get your personalized copy rushed to you today. Do you want to avoid mistakes baby boomers and seniors can make when they buy annuities? Those mistakes now could be costly later to you and your family. Call 800-644-3169. That's 800-644-3169. Employees of J.D. Melberg Financial have the appropriate licenses for the products they offer.
Hey, everybody. Mark Davis for my friends at Viascan of Las Colinas. Here's March, spring around the corner. Time to spring into action for your health. There is nothing smarter that you can do than see what's going on inside your body. Do you have plaques or blockages in your heart that could be signal of a future heart attack? Do you have things going on in your body, some vital organ with a little cancer spot or two that, if left undetected, could grow into an inoperable mass? This is not smart. You got to find out about these things. How about stroke risk? Take a look at the carotid artery in your neck. Find out if you're at risk for a stroke. There are answers to all these questions, answers you can get affordably at Viascan of Las Colinas. 972-739-2840. 972-739-2840. The body scan that's usually $895, now $595. Stroke risk scan for just $99 more. All at 123bodyscan.com. Just Google Viascan or call 972-739-2840. 972-739-2840 or just Google Viascan.
Are you a business owner who is jealous of some of the great commercials you hear right here on 660 AM The Answer? Do you feel a little left out when a clever commercial plays and you wish it was about you instead? Nothing's worse than hearing a catchy commercial from a competitor who is raking in new customers each day while you still aren't advertising on the radio. It's not too late. I can still help you. My name is Brad Ballard, and I work here at 660 AM The Answer. Call me today at 214-561-9116, and I can turn you into the company everyone wants to work with. That's 214-561-9116. It's much more affordable than you might think. Don't let another competitor pass you by. Call me today at 214-561-9116, and we'll get you on the radio right away. I'll meet with you personally to brainstorm the best message possible that will rise above the rest. It's time to grow your business and sound like one of the big boys. So don't wait. Call me at 214-561-9116.
This is 660 AM. The Answer. Only for Texas. This is the Wells Report on 660 AM. The Answer.
As you know, I spent last week in France. I had a wonderful time. It was really good. What they said about French waiters in Paris, absolutely incorrect. I want to tell you, they were absolutely wonderful and very, very nice. The White House is trying to avoid a partisan flare-up. The 6th anniversary of Obamacare is coming up. In a series of events this week, the Obama administration will look beyond the law's central issues of access, affordability, et cetera, and try to get to the next chapter of healthcare reform. Sylvia Matthews Burwell, who is the HHS secretary, plans to broaden the conversation about the 2010 law to highlight system-wide reforms to lower costs and improve quality. Sure. By the way, a little farther down that road, the Obamacare road, is the French healthcare system. And the French healthcare system is deep in the throes of trying to figure out what to do with socialized medicine insofar as there are not enough doctors to go around. So 6 French mayors decided that what they were going to do was, because they couldn't get a doctor to practice in their particular communities, they decided to hire Gwenaël Trochet. Who is Gwenaël Trochet? He is a druid. Yeah. Druids have what they consider to be a power to heal. So in order to get their citizens more medically cared for, they decided to hire a Druid healer to come to their communities. We need to get rid of Obamacare before we can say, Sacre bleu! This is the Wells Report.
You know, I'm not a genius about money. I love my credit cards, and they love me. I was using them as a source of income, and then I got behind in my payments, and creditors were calling. I figured I had a problem, and I didn't know how to deal with it. I heard about Trinity, so I called and talked to a counselor. In half an hour, we worked out a plan. Now I've got one easy monthly payment, a lower interest rate, and I'm getting out of debt.
If you're in an endless cycle of paying on credit card balances that never seem to go away, then get ready for a toll-free number that will put you on a path to financial recovery. Trinity will consolidate your accounts, put a stop to late fees and over-limit charges, reduce your interest, and possibly improve your credit score. You'll save thousands. If your debt has you down, we should talk. Call 1-800-990-6976. That's 1-800-990-6976. Call 1-800-990-6976.
Aches, pains, looking for a solution to silence arthritis? Blue Emu Maximum Arthritis Pain Relief Cream is the answer. Use it for arthritis pain, strains, sprains, bruises, and more. Don't let your achy joints and muscles slow you down. Make you feel like you again. Give Blue Emu Maximum Arthritis Pain Relief Cream a try today. Beat the pain.
Available in stores nationwide.
Geico applauds your inner road champion.
A solid bump from Geico's fist to yours goes out to the little rebel that lives within. The one who made you daydream as a kid about owning a chopper, chroming it out, and chewing on toothpicks, just to look tough. For you, champ, Geico insures motorcycles with great rates. And to further fuel your engine, you can access your policy anytime, day or night through the Geico mobile app. Because Geico knows that even make-believe renegades need help from time to time.
Geico Motorcycle. See how much you could save.
What is Pink Impact?
My girlfriends and I have been to every single Pink Impact. And it's the one time of year where we come together and we worship together and we laugh together and we cry together. Pink Impact. It's all about friendships and relationship building for me.
Pink Impact, May 13th and 14th at the Fort Worth Convention Center with Priscilla Shire, Christine Kane, Charlotte Gamble, and Worship with Carrie Job. Get your tickets now at pinkimpact.com. That's pinkimpact.com.
660 AM The Answer. KSKY Balch Springs, Dallas, Fort Worth. The official radio station of Decision 2016. The most important election of our lifetime.
Fox News Radio, I'm Karen McHugh. The next round of presidential nominating contests are just hours away.
Hillary Clinton rallied in Phoenix Monday evening, where immigration's been a hot topic for years. She said the way the local sheriff and others have talked about it.
I'm going to fight for comprehensive immigration reform with a path to citizenship.
Polls have her leading Bernie Sanders here. Arizona has 75 delegates up for grabs, divided proportionally. For Republicans, it's winner take all, 58 delegates.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. Not everyone's thrilled with the president's visit to Cuba.
In Cuba, President Obama is sending billions of dollars to Raul and Fidel Castro. They will use those billions to oppress and torture and murder their citizens and export terrorism throughout Latin America and undermine America. I think today was a tragic mistake.
Senator Ted Cruz. President Obama, meanwhile, says he's open to more meetings with Cuban President Castro in the future. Fox News. We report, you decide.
Stimulating talk. 660 AM The Answer.
Veterans have given us the freedoms we live by each day. That's why Starkey Mortgage and 660 AM The Answer bring you the Veteran of the Month. If you know a veteran who deserves this honor, then go to 660amtheanswer.com and nominate them to be the 660 AM The Answer Starkey Mortgage Veteran of the Month. Winners will visit the studio, meet hosts Mark Davis and Jon-David Wells, and receive a prize from Starkey Mortgage. Go to 660amtheanswer.com to nominate your veteran. Starkey Mortgage is an equal housing lender, NMLS number 2146. This is not a commitment to lend. Specific underwriting guidelines must be met.
This is Howard Garrett, I'd like to invite you to join me for our talk show every Sunday morning. We're actually trying to convert the world to organics. We talk about the natural organic program for farming, ranching, gardening, and pest control. Also, a lot of talk about health issues for animals and people. Hope you can join us for all the fun.
Make sure to tune in to Howard Garrett, the Dirt Doctor, every Sunday morning from 8 to 11 a.m. right here on 660 a.m. The Answer.
Ladies and gentlemen.
And the Grammy goes to. And the American Music Award goes to.
And the Grammy goes to.
And the Grammy goes to.
Mr. Stephen Curtis Chapman.
With a career spanning over 3 decades, Stephen Curtis Chapman has pretty much done it all, except for one thing.
Hi, we're Third Day.
Be a member of Third Day? One night where 2 of our industry's top performers literally merge into each other's bands to play each other's songs that you've loved for years. Our sister station's doing it again. The 94.9 KLTY Concert Series welcomes Stephen Curtis Chapman with Third Day at the Verizon Theater on April 30th.
We're forming sort of one new band called SCC 3D, I think is what we're calling it.
You'll probably never see anything like this again. Get your tickets right now at AXS.com. That's AXS.com. One night you'll never forget. Get your tickets right now at AXS.com.
I'm Steve Sitkowski, a former Wall Street insider. Right now, I'm holding a book that could change your life. It will show you investing strategies which could help you earn the kind of money you've always dreamed about. And right now, I'm giving this book away for free. So who needs to read it? If you're in the middle of your career and you worry you'll never have enough money to retire, you need to read this book. If you're already retired and your income isn't enough, you need to read this book. And if you don't want to be selling burgers at the age of 80, well, you need to read this free book. The reality is you'll need at least $1 million to ever fully retire. If you're behind on that goal, you really need to read Trade Like the Pros. And you can for free by calling 1-800-700-2114. Are you skeptical that it will deliver results? It's a free book, so what do you have to lose? Find out how at 1-800-700-2114.
Talk louder!
That's 1-800-700-2114.
Where they taught you in broadcast school.
1-800-700-2114.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
Do you have a family? Would you like to help make sure they'll be taken care of if anything were to happen to you? If you answered yes, you probably need life insurance. Now, do you think life insurance is expensive? If you answered yes to that too, you definitely need to give AIG Direct a call. We could find you a $250,000 policy for just $14 a month, which means you could save hundreds of dollars a year. Call us now for a free, no-obligation quote. 1-800-941-9947. Since 1995, we've helped millions of people find out if they could save up to 70% on their term life insurance. See how affordably we can help you protect your family. Call AIG Direct now for your free quote. 1-800-941-9947. You could save up to 70%. That's 1-800-941-9947. 1-800-941-9947.
Hi, I'm Tom Kidd, engineering graduate of Texas A&M and owner of Structured Foundation Repairs. Our number is 972-484-1200. Our motto is to do the right thing. In some respects, it's hard being the company that always does the right thing. But for our customers' sake, it's very important that we do. Being fully insured, as an example, costs us a lot of money, but it protects our customers. Having employees instead of day laborers is a huge responsibility. Employees ensure that we do the best repairs we can. Managing a large office staff can be tedious, but they provide our customers a helpful voice when they need something urgent. Returning every phone call is time-consuming, but instills our customers with confidence that we will always be there when they need us. The Aggie Code of Honor states that Aggies don't lie, cheat, or steal, or tolerate those that do. That code was the principle our company was founded on, and it guides our daily operations. If this sounds like the kind of company you could trust to repair your foundation, call us today for a free evaluation at 972-484-1200 or click structuredfoundation.com.
Hi, I'm Larry Patterson, owner of Glass Doctor. In our disposable society, we're conditioned to throw out the whole thing when just one part goes bad. Like when the insulated glass windows in your home get condensation between the panes. You don't need to replace the whole window. The specialists at Glass Doctor can install new insulated glass in your existing frames with a lifetime warranty for a lot less than you might think. To see how quick and easy it is, visit glassdoctor.com today. That's glassdoctor.com.
Call the Glass Doctor, we'll fix your paint. Oh, yeah!
660 AM. The Answer. Is anybody out there paying attention to what's going on in this country, in this state, and in this city? We know one man who is. You got questions? He's got answers. This is the Wells Report with Jon-David Wells on 660 AM. The Answer.
You know Che Guevara, right? Yeah, he was a contemporary of Fidel Castro. He was a hardline totalitarian socialist communist. The only reason that you have any idea of who Che Guevara is or was is because of an iconic drawing of him, not a caricature per se, but a shadow study of his face that was truly remarkable. Che Guevara was a very handsome guy. And that picture of his face that came out of the 60s, like I said, was enough to propel him into this iconic Central American figure, which is a station that he did not qualify for in life, and certainly is only part of his posterity by accident. That having been said, the people who Che Guevara inspired the most were 60s semi-communist, soft socialist, liberal college students. You know, the same people that were part of the Occupy America crowd. The same people who, for whatever reason, now are supporting either Bernie Sanders or Hillary Clinton. You know, all those people, those 60s leftist radicals always kind of thought that Che Guevara and the Castro brothers were just the absolute pinnacle of American or their political ideology. Now, that doesn't explain why President Obama went to Cuba to talk with Raul Castro today or over the weekend. Doesn't explain why he went down there because when all this was going on, I was a kid. I was like 10 years old. The thing about that is that when all this was going on, President Obama was 7 years old. So why he would be trying to channel his inner Bill Ayers, I have no idea. But sure as hell, the President of the United States seeks to normalize relations with Castro's Cuba again, as Donald Trump keeps pointing out, in a deal that makes the American public, the American people, America nothing. It doesn't do anything for we, the people of the United States. But so what you do have is you do have the President of the United States getting on the big blue jet, flying to what President Kennedy called a tortured isle, and speaking nice with the president of Cuba, Raul Castro. So what does that turn into? Well, that turns into the president of the United States essentially sucking up to somebody that runs half of an island in the Central American Caribbean. And then, of course, because Raul Castro is Raul Castro, he wants to lecture the most powerful leader on the planet on all kinds of things. Normally, somebody that you would think was, say, the leader of the most powerful country that God ever gave this planet, normally what you'd say is, are you kidding, really? But since President Obama's mission is to, I think, embarrass the United States at every possible turn, he actually sat through these tortured, ideological, barely comprehensible statements from Cuban President Raul Castro. Say, for example, this one.
Other policies should also be abolished for normal relations to develop between the United States and Cuba. No one should intend to have the Cuban people renounce the destiny it shows in freedom and sovereignty, the same for which it has made enormous sacrifices.
Yes, you have the freedom in Cuba to do exactly what the Castro brothers want you to, or go to jail. That's the only freedom they have. I think they can even, well, actually, they can even choose the color of their 1956 Edsel. Actually, you know what? I don't think that any Cubans have Edsels because nobody in Cuba would want one. That's how bad that car was. Anyway, toward the end of the speech, Raul Castro decided that the U.S. and Cuba, as well as other countries, should respect each other in their ways of life. Okay, let's hear what he had to say about that.
On December 17, 2014, as we announced the decision to reestablish diplomatic relations, I said that we should learn the art of coexisting with our differences in a civilized manner. In my remarks to Parliament on July 15, 2015, I said, changing everything that needs to be changed is the sovereign and exclusive concern of Cubans. The revolutionary government is willing to advance toward normalization of relations, for it is convinced that both countries can coexist and cooperate in a civilized manner and for their mutual benefit, regardless of existing and future differences, and thus contribute to peace, security, stability, development, and equity in our continent and around the world.
Okay. Sure. Yeah, we should practice the art of civilized coexistence and respect our differences, unless, of course, you disagree with the Castro brothers, in which case you go to jail. Yeah. Yeah, that's a common ending to a lot of sentences having to do with the Castro brothers. That one thing that says, and you must agree with the Castro brothers or you will go to jail. Right? I would like some delicious Cuban scrambled eggs for breakfast. If, of course, you agree with the Castro brothers or I will go to jail. Gosh, I'd like to vacuum my floor today because I agree with the Castro brothers and I don't want to go to jail. Things like that. He then went on to say just how much Cuba believes in human rights.
We defend human rights. In our view, civil, political, economic, social, and cultural rights are indivisible, interdependent, and universal. Actually, we find it inconceivable that a government does not defend and ensure the right to health care, education, social security, food provision and development, equal pay, and the rights of children. We oppose political manipulation and double standards in the approach to human rights.
Huh? Actually, a rare moment of candor there. Yeah.
Or you go to jail.
Yeah, or you go to jail if you don't agree with the Castro brothers. No, what you just said she was just talking about what's that last statement? Can you go back just to the last part of that? This was like, yeah, listen to this. I'm sure that this is a mistranslation, but it's still epically humorous when you start thinking about this. Like, give me the last 15 seconds if you can do that. It's like, because I think the translator said something that was very, very illuminating. Okay, we're going to try something that we've never done before here. So let's see how this works. So far, what we've heard is everything on my mind right now. Here's the last 30 seconds of this. Listen carefully to what this woman said.
Defend and ensure the right to health care, education, social security, food provision and development, equal pay, and the rights of children. We oppose political manipulation and double standards in the approach to human rights.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. So I misunderstood that. I was sitting there saying that they also stood for manipulation and double standards in human rights.
They oppose it.
They actually oppose it. Okay, good. All right. It's not.
Or you go to jail.
Or yeah. And I better agree with him or I will go to jail. Yeah. Yeah. President Obama didn't want to be left out of the fun. Yeah. What we're going to do is we're going to ask the U.S. to stop urging Cubans to renounce communism. Oh, this president cracks me up.
And perhaps most importantly, I affirm that Cuba's destiny will not be decided by the United States or any other nation. Cuba is sovereign and rightly has great pride. And the future of Cuba will be decided by Cubans, not by anybody else. At the same time, as we do wherever we go around the world, I made it clear that the United States will continue to speak up on behalf of democracy, including the right of the Cuban people to decide their own future. We'll speak out on behalf of universal human rights, including freedom of speech and assembly and religion. Indeed, I look forward to meeting with and hearing from Cuban civil society leaders tomorrow. But as you heard, President Castro has also addressed what he views as shortcomings in the United States around basic needs for people and poverty and inequality and race relations. And we welcome that constructive dialogue as well, because we believe that when we share our deepest beliefs and ideas with an attitude of mutual respect, that we can both learn and make the lives of our people better.
Right. So in other words, by paying attention to what they do in Cuba, you can make the lives of people better. Uh-huh. That's, of course, only for the people who agree, because all of the rest of the people who have disagreed with the Castro brothers have gone to jail. Yeah. So that's how you improve society. Just throw people who disagree with you in jail. Yes, Mr. President, that's what you said. Stop wriggling. This is the Wells Report.
If you've ever wondered what it would be like to experience the magnificent beauty of the Sistine Chapel, the historic Western Wall in Jerusalem, and the beauty of the Greek island of Santorini, all while sailing pristine waters on a 5-star cruise ship, your opportunity now awaits to discover for yourself cities of antiquity and the origins of culture and faith. A journey with meaning awaits you this fall on the footsteps of the Apostles Mediterranean Cruise, September 22nd through October 9th. For more information and to register, visit 660amtheanswer.com.
Hey, it's Mark Davis for my friends at Good Feet. I've described the many ways the right arch supports can help. Look, for some people, foot pain isn't just an inconvenience. It's a threat to the very work they do.
A construction guy comes in and told me, I'm afraid I'm going to get fired. My feet hurt so bad. I can't do what I need to do at work. You got to help me. It's unbelievable how quickly the product changes some things for some people.
If you're one of those people with foot pain affecting your livelihood, real help is here in all 3 locations of Good Feet: Plano, Fort Worth, and Southlake. The adventure begins at goodfeetdfw.com, goodfeetdfw.com, where you can get out of pain today. If you're working out a lot and you want to avoid foot pain, arch support means everything. Men, women, all the shapes and sizes and styles you need from Good Feet. Again, they are in Plano, Fort Worth, and Southlake. Check them out at goodfeetdfw.com. That's goodfeetdfw.com. It's America's #1 arch support, goodfeetdfw.com.
If you're over the age of 50 and considering buying an annuity in the next 60 days, I have some urgent news for you. Don't buy an annuity until you understand the pros and cons of annuities. A free book to help you maximize your retirement income from PBS host and 3-time author Josh Melberg has been released. This book reveals little-known truths about annuity strategies in simple-to-understand terms. Grab a pen right now because we're about to offer you this free book that unlocks the 5 little-known secrets we believe baby boomers and seniors should know before buying an annuity. Call 800-644-3169 now to get your personalized copy rushed to you today. Do you want to avoid mistakes baby boomers and seniors can make when they buy annuities? Those mistakes now could be costly later to you and your family. Call 800-644-3169. That's 800-644-3169. Employees of J.D. Melberg Financial have the appropriate licenses for the products they offer.
Hi, I'm Jeff Stewart with Reliant Air Conditioning. Well, it's that time of year again. When the AC business is slow, the gimmicks start to flow. Right now, you'll hear 50% off sales, warehouse clearance sales, and my personal favorite, the guy who says it'll work for no profit. Nobody can run a business without profit. So rather than insult your intelligence with silly gimmicks, we partnered with the utility provider to offer real instant rebates, up to $1,800 off qualifying systems. But the utility funds are limited, so we're offering our free estimates on a first-come, first-served basis. If you need a new AC system, call the no-profit guy, then call the 50% off guys, and then call us. I guarantee we'll beat their price with brand-name Carrier equipment because we've been gimmick-free since '83. Our number's 877-YOUR-HERO. That's 877-968-7437, or visit us online at ReliantAirConditioning.com.
Reliant Air Conditioning. Call 877-YOUR-HERO.
There's a real freedom in paying off credit card debt. You open the mailbox without facing a pile of bills. Open your paycheck without worrying about all the people you owe. Avant can help you get there by consolidating your credit card debt into one unsecured personal loan. One loan, one monthly payment. Just go to avantoffer.com and check your rate. Checking your rate is risk-free with no effect on your FICO score. Complete your application in minutes, and the funds could be in your account as soon as tomorrow. Avant will give you a $50 Amazon.com gift card after you make your first payment on time. For this offer and to check your rate risk-free, go to avantoffer.com and enter the promo code BORROW. That's AVANT offer.com, promo code BORROW. Avantoffer.com, promo code BORROW. Loans made by WebBank. Funds are generally deposited via ACH for delivery next business day if approved by 4:30 p.m. Central Time, Monday through Friday. FICO is a registered trademark of Fair Isaac Corporation. Amazon is not a sponsor of this promotion. Other restrictions apply. See website for details.
How is this year's unusual election drama likely to play out? What would a contested convention mean for the GOP? Find out on April 13th in Dallas at Making Sense of a Baffling Election with Michael Barone at the Institute for Policy Innovation's Hatton Sumner's Luncheon Series. Michael Barone, election analyst and contributor with Fox News, will help make sense of what's happening and what it means for America. Don't miss out. Wednesday, April 13th in Dallas. Get your tickets now at IPI.org. That's IPI.org.
660 AM, The Answer. The Wells Report, a daily good old-fashioned North Texas barbecue of anybody trying to take advantage of us on 660 AM, The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is Jon-David Wells, and yes, the President of the United States went to the Castro brothers' Cuba. Yeah. By the way, there were 50 dissidents that disagreed with the Castro brothers, and you know where they went today? That's right. They went to jail because that's what happens to you when you disagree with the Castro brothers. You go to jail. Yeah. Let me get to John in Grapevine. John, thanks for joining us. Welcome, sir.
Jon-David, as always, you're outstanding.
Thank you, sir.
You know, Jon-David, I think this man should be tried for treason for what he's done today. But be that as it may, something good could possibly come out of all of this. I think that every high school ought to make their seniors take a trip to that Caribbean paradise and see what communism is really like. It's unfortunate that we can't speak to the people, the thousands of people who drowned trying to escape that hellish island, or those that were consumed by sharks coming over here in hurricane season. You know, Jon-David, it's amazing. The people that are supporting Bernie, maybe they should just read an email that I got today. I'm going to send that to you as soon as I get off of the phone here with you. But it's about that socialist paradise called Sweden and what it costs to live there. So I think something good could come out of all of this if the high school students get to take their senior trip and just see what a magnificent paradise the Castro brothers have created.
Yeah, indeed. And once again, these people are all of these people. I'm talking about the Castro brothers who are revising their history as they see fit because they have to, John. How else would they sleep at night? President Obama is banking on the fact that it's been long enough so that most of us forget the treachery that Fidel Castro played against America to be able to get so much of American treasure, and then immediately decided to go with the Soviet Union because they gave him a better deal. The Soviet Union. All at the expense of the people. Castro brothers never missed a meal. Castro brothers got excellent medical care because they're still alive. The life expectancy of the typical Cuban isn't the life expectancy of a typical Castro. Just so you know. There were some questions and answers. Castro was confronted, strangely enough, by CNN's Jim Acosta regarding political prisoners. Here's what he had to say.
Did you ask if we had political prisoners? Did you ask if we had political prisoners? Well, I wanted to know if you have Cuban political prisoners and why you don't release them. Well, give me a list of the political prisoners and I will release them immediately. Just mention a list. What political prisoners? Give me a name or names. Or when after this meeting is over, you can give me a list of political prisoners. And if we have those political prisoners, they will really be released before tonight ends.
Uh-huh. There's only one thing. There's only one thing about that list of political prisoners. There is no list of political prisoners. Because these people just disappear. Sometimes they show back up. Sometimes they don't. Welcome to the workers' paradise of Fidel Castro's Cuba. This is the Wells Report.
Are you in the market for a new gun? Is there a specific brand that you're looking for? Or are you looking to buy from someone you trust and someone who has the knowledge to help you? You could get your new gun anywhere, but no place will have a selection better than Texas Gun Pros. When it comes to buying guns, Texas Gun Pros is here to help. Come in and let our guys match you with the perfect gun to meet your needs, whether it's for hunting, personal protection, or just having fun at the range. Texas Gun Pros has it. With our local inventory and vast online catalog, you have access to thousands of guns from the country's best distributors. Texas Gun Pros is the only place in North Texas that can give you the gun you want for the price you can afford. Don't miss out on the amazing selection and friendly staff at Texas Gun Pros. Stop by our North Richland Hills location or visit us on the web at texasgunpros.com. That's texasgunpros.com. texasgunpros.com. And see how it feels to be a member of the Texas Gun Pros family.
Are you a responsible person who finds yourself growing deeper and deeper in credit card debt and you're not sure how to fix the problem? Then get ready for a toll-free number that will put you on a path to financial recovery. Trinity Debt Management is a nonprofit organization that will consolidate your accounts into one easy-to-manage monthly payment, put a stop to late fees and over-limit charges, and reduce your interest rates by as much as 60%. You'll save thousands and become debt-free for keeps. It's not a loan. It's a smart way to relieve your stress. Meet your reserve your self-respect. If your debt has you down, we should talk. Gather up your bills and call this toll-free number for a free, no-obligation debt analysis. 1-800-936-5348. That's 1-800-936-5348. If you're in debt and you need help, call Trinity at 1-800-936-5348.
Hey, it's Mark Davis from my friend Josh DeShong. The real estate world of Josh DeShong sells houses when others cannot. I am living proof. Lisa and I are so thrilled with Josh. He came in and sold our house with blinding speed. You want a promise. You want somebody who's going to sit down with you and say, I promise to sell your house. Most folks won't do this. Josh will. His website is getsold.net, and he is telling you your house will get sold. How does he do this? Well, you call him at the number I'm about to give you. He sits down with you and says, let's arrive at an agreed upon price and an agreed upon time frame. If that house of yours does not sell at that price in that time frame, he, Josh DeShong, simply buys your house. That's it. You're out. You're at closing. You move on. So call him and call him today. Don't waste a day. 972-325-6644. 972-325-6644. D Magazine Best Realtor 3 years in a row. I'll love him forever. Josh DeShong, getsold.net. 972-325-6644.
Every floor in stock is on sale at Lumber Liquidators' end of quarter clearance sale. 100 million square feet of top quality flooring is priced to move. Get incredible deals on 60 styles of North American and European laminate, including the look of oak, maple, or cherry for under $1. 200 styles of pre-finished hardwood from just 99 cents. Save $2 a square foot on beautiful Bellawood 3/4 inch solid Brazilian cherry, and get pre-finished solid bamboo from $149. Plus wood look, tile, vinyl plank, and more from 69 cents, and pay no interest until 2018. The end of quarter clearance sales going on now, so visit lumberliquidators.com to find a store near you today.
At GoDaddy, a domain name is the beginning of something awesome. Use it to create a website to promote your business, open an online store to sell your products, start a blog, build your brand. You can even connect your domain to your LinkedIn or Facebook page. And GoDaddy customer support is always ready to help. What will you do with your domain name? Get a free domain with website from GoDaddy.com, starting at $1 a month. Annual purchase of website builder required. Price valid first year only. See website for details.
I know you've heard the IRS has the right to freeze your assets, garnish your wages. Good news is they can also give you a way out called the Fresh Start Initiative, a tax debt compromise program designed to save you serious money. Optima is the nation's leading tax resolution firm. Over 300 professionals to help ensure you pay the minimum, not a penny more. Thousands call every month. You can call right now. Optima. That's Latin for cut me some slack.
Call 800-956-1855. 800-956-1855.
Optima Tax Relief.
Hey, it's Flo, and this is my impression of a home inspector who needs friends.
Yeah, so these studs need to be 1/4 inch further apart, give or take 1/2 inch. It's got to be just right, you know, like the coverage Progressive provides for your construction business. Otherwise, I'll have to shut you guys down. But if I do, maybe you could come out for Tuesday trivia. Fair warning, I'm kind of a know-it-all. You'll see what I mean at board game night. Hey, what's your number?
Commercial insurance that's perfect for your small business. Visit progressivecommercial.com to learn more. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
660 AM The Answer. 660 AM TheAnswer.com. Only for Texas. This is the Wells Report with Jon-David Wells on 660 AM The Answer.
Oh, buddy. You're listening to the Wells Reports. Jon-David Wells here with you. Yeah.
Cuban science.
Yes. It is
science.
The science of the Kester brothers. You know, they don't hear any political dissidents or anything like that because they throw them in jail.
Science.
Yeah, it's the science of socialist leadership. Yeah, we keep screwing around. It'll come to the United States. By the way, coming up in just a little bit, say, for example, let's see, carry the two. I can 19 hours? No, it's not 19. It's not 19 hours. It's 17 hours,
9 hours.
9 hours?
7 o'clock.
It is 9 hours. You're right. It's actually not 9 hours. It's actually 8 hours and 24 minutes and 33 seconds.
It wasn't 19.
Well, it certainly wasn't 19 because I was wrong, okay? Leave me alone. I've got jet lag.
Oh, yeah, right.
Well, that explains the extra hours. I'm talking about Mark Davis. Mark Davis will be joining us. Does Mark have something to tell us? Mark, what have you got planned for us tomorrow?
Hey, JD, welcome back. Now the focus turns to Arizona, Utah, and the other states that haven't voted yet. Everybody, here's your chance. Those who want to keep this Trump thing from happening, there's only one way to do it. It's called Vote for Ted Cruz. That'll either happen or it won't on Tuesday night in a couple of states, and then we'll all have to deal with it, which some people are ready to do and some maybe not. Meanwhile, President Obama greases the reputational wheels of the Castro regime. We'll see how that's working out for everybody. Plus, of course, all the overnight news we need to tackle. Busy Tuesday morning show. Join us 7 to 10 a.m. right here on 660 a.m. The Answer.
I will be there, Mark. Thank you, by the way. In case you don't know, one of the greatest coworkers I've ever had in my entire life is a guy named Mark Davis. He has always treated me beautifully. From the day that I first came to town, when he was the first guy from the broadcasting community to reach out to me, to this very day. This is a handwritten note from Mark Davis that says, JD, welcome back. Missed you. Isn't that nice? I found that on the control board when I came in today. And I think that one of the big highlights of my career, if not the highest highlight of my career, is being a teammate to one of the nicest guys in the broadcasting industry, and that's Mark Davis. Good guy. We've been paying attention very closely, in fact, to this the Apple company against the FBI. They've gotten themselves into a little bit of a problem. They've gotten themselves into a real twist regarding this telephone from the San Bernardino murderers, the San Bernardino terror attack. Because what they're trying to get done is they are trying to get a way around an ingenious security protocol that exists on iPhones. If you don't give the correct entry code, there's a 4-digit code. If you don't give the correct entry code in 10 tries, the phone will automatically wipe its memory banks clear, and not with a cloth. I'm talking about actually getting rid of all the data in the phone. Now, even if the data in the phone is encrypted, the FBI can certainly de-encrypt the phone because they have supercomputers that can come up with every possible algorithm before you have a chance to say violation of civil rights. And they can get the information on the telephone, but they can't get around this 4-digit code. If you don't get it done in 10 tries, the phone's gone. The FBI wanted the Apple Corporation to come up with a way to get through that back door, to get through that protocol, which, by the way, would open up the government's capability to get into anybody's telephone at any time for any reason that they thought would be plausible, which means that they would get into your phone for no reason whatsoever. Naturally, Apple Computer decided, no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to circumvent the privacy of millions of iPhone users. The Justice Department, the FBI, said, oh, yes, you are. And what ended up happening is that before you could say violation of your civil rights, there was a lawsuit. Except, of course, that there's something else that may have popped up. Get a load of this. They're supposed to have this legal showdown with Apple Incorporated tomorrow. However, the Justice Department decided to request a postponement as federal investigators may have a new method for unlocking the iPhone. Justice lawyers claimed in court documents that an undisclosed outside party demonstrated a possible method to the FBI for checking Farouk's phone. And this, the phone being recovered in the aftermath of the December massacre. Testing is required to determine whether it's a viable method that will not compromise data on Farouk's iPhone. If the method is viable, it should eliminate the need for assistance from Apple Incorporated. In other words, they're turning to a hacker to come up with some way to get into the telephone. Hacking into a telephone is illegal. And so the FBI is doing something illegal to come up with a way to violate not necessarily Farouk Syed's phone or Syed Farouk's phone, but certainly the rest of ours. Our top priority has always been gaining access into the phone used by terrorists in San Bernardino, said Justice spokeswoman Melanie Newman. With that goal in mind, the FBI has continued its efforts to get access to the phone without Apple's assistance, even during a month-long period of litigation with the company. As a result of these efforts, an outside party demonstrated to the FBI this past weekend a possible method for unblocking the phone. We got to test this method to ensure that it doesn't destroy data on the telephone, but we remain cautiously optimistic. That's why we asked the court to give us some more time to explore the option. If the solution works, it will allow us to search the phone and continue our investigation into the terrorist attack that killed 14 people and wounded 22. Now, I'm against the FBI forcing Apple to come up with a security key to every Apple iPhone on the planet. I don't have any problem whatsoever with the FBI coming up with a way to unlock that iPhone. And you may say, well, it doesn't really matter, does it? Yes, it really matters. And the reason it really matters is because these people will get into your phone if they have a chance. Not if they have cause. If they have a chance. As a matter of fact, they've already gotten into your phones, at least on several different levels. The NSA gets everything you do on your telephone, text, email, voice, and they tuck it away into the federal data hub. Listen to this. Prosecutors in an LA suburb, specifically Palm Springs, say they have dramatically scaled back a vast and legally questionable eavesdropping campaign built by federal agents that once accounted for nearly a fifth of all U.S. wiretaps. The wiretapping, authorized by prosecutors and a single state court judge in Riverside County, alarmed privacy activists and even some U.S. Justice Department lawyers who warned that it was likely illegal. Why didn't those same U.S. Justice Department lawyers tell them to shut it down? In an investigation last year by the Desert Sun and USA Today, it was found the operation almost certainly violated federal wiretapping laws while using millions of secretly intercepted calls and texts to make hundreds of arrests nationwide. These are calls and texts secretly intercepted that violated federal wiretapping law, which means that there's a lawless component in our federal law enforcement that does whatever the hell they please. The city of Riverside's district attorney, Mike Hestrin, acknowledged being concerned by the scope of that surveillance. He enacted significant reforms last summer to rein it in. Wiretap figures his office released this week offer the first hint of evidence that the enormous eavesdropping program has wound down to more routine levels. They're already wiretapping people in the United States in ways that violate federal wiretapping laws. If they indeed violate wiretapping laws, it's because they violate the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution of the United States. So they're violating their own federal law and the Constitution in an effort to get arrests of who? Well, arrests of whoever has done something that they disagree with. You don't suppose the Castro brother, it couldn't be. Or could it? We've got to do something about this. Now, I don't know that our senators and representatives, even our president, would have any real interest in doing anything about it, because they seem to be perfectly willing to continue riding this pony because for whatever reason they think it makes the country better. No, it doesn't. It makes the country worse. It becomes a political football. You're in a situation here where the government's violating its own laws and violating our constitutional rights all in one fell swoop. Are you okay with this? What do we have to lose? There's a Guardian article by Danny Yadrin, who operates out of San Francisco. He is a former White House technologist. He tells a harrowing story about what it means when the government can get into your personal electronic devices. The year is 2026. You get into your new Tesla for a milk run. You place your fingertips on the door handle, the door unlocks, the car knows it's you, you step inside because it read your fingerprint. The car, on its own, pulls out of the garage while you scroll through the live streams broadcast by your friends on whatever app you succeeded in bringing up. The door's locked then. The car passes the convenience store in the dairy aisle. Instead, it makes two left turns and a right before pulling up at the local police station. The cops are waiting outside. They got a judge to make the Tesla update to your car's self-driving software to lock the doors and deliver you to the local precinct. You look like a guy caught on surveillance camera, and the police had a few questions. So what they did was they violated your civil rights and arrested you. This is all supposedly in 2026. And they did so probably without a warrant. That scenario is only possible if we don't do something about privacy laws that don't exist in this country. Everything that does not have a law prohibiting it is a tool for law enforcement. That seems to be the new way of enforcing the law. Don't get me wrong. I'm a law-abiding citizen. But just because I'm innocent, it doesn't mean that I don't have rights. There's more. It's coming up. You're listening to the Wells Report. This is 660 AM The Answer.
Would you like to have a quieter life? Are you tired of listening to the traffic and the leaf blower and the lawnmower and all of the things going on outside? This is amazing. Did you know that replacement windows will make your house twice as quiet? We all need a little bit less noise in our life, and being able to get your environment to come down by about 15 or 20 decibels can be an amazing thing. Modern replacement windows actually do that. And in fact, most customers will tell me on the very first day that they notice how much quieter the bedroom is. It's an amazing upgrade to the quality of life for most folks to be able to be in a little quieter environment. Hi, I'm Dave Trainer of The Window Connection. I would love the opportunity to come out and give you an idea how to get a window project started.
Call the Window Connection for an estimate at 972-620-1994. That's 972-620-1994. Or go online to thewindowconnection.net.
Ladies and gentlemen.
And the Grammy goes to. And the American Music Award goes to.
And the Grammy goes
to
Mr. Stephen Curtis Chapman.
With a career spanning over 3 decades, Stephen Curtis Chapman has pretty much done it all, except for one thing.
Hi, we're Third Day.
Be a member of Third Day? One night where 2 of our industry's top performers literally merge into each other's bands to play each other's songs that you've loved for years. Our sister station's doing it again. The 94.9 KLTY Concert Series welcomes Stephen Curtis Chapman with Third Day at the Verizon Theater on April 30th.
We're forming sort of one new band called SCC 3D, I think is what we're calling it.
You'll probably never see anything like this again. Get your tickets right now at AXS.com. That's AXS.com. One night you'll never forget. Get your tickets right now at AXS.com.
I'm Steve Sitkowski, a former Wall Street insider. Right now, I'm holding a book that could change your life. It will show you investing strategies which could help you earn the kind of money you've always dreamed about. And right now, I'm giving this book away for free. So who needs to read it? If you're in the middle of your career and you worry you'll never have enough money to retire, you need to read this book. If you're already retired and your income isn't enough, you need to read this book. And if you don't want to be selling burgers at the age of 80, well, you need to read this free book. The reality is you'll need at least $1 million to ever fully retire. If you're behind on that goal, you really need to read Trade Like the Pros. And you can for free by calling 1-800-700-2114. Are you skeptical that it will deliver results? It's a free book, so what do you have to lose? Find out how at 1-800-700-2114. That's 1-800-700-2114. 1-800-700-2114.
Think you're fat? You might just be bloated. Find out by calling now for a free trial of New Biotics, the new breakthrough that flattens bloated bellies fast. For a free trial, call 1-800-655-3232.
I used to be plagued by potbelly and constant bloating. After taking New Biotics, my belly flattened and continues to get flatter. My sense of bloating and discomfort is gone.
If you've got a big belly, you might not be fat. You might just be bloated. New Biotics is scientifically formulated with natural ingredients to flatten bloated bellies fast by cleansing pounds of rotting food and toxic sludge from your body. It even combats periodic heartburn and acid reflux. So just think how much better you'll look and feel. Think you might be bloated? Call now for a free trial of New Biotics and see how much flatter it makes your belly. You might be surprised. But hurry, call now for details while these free trials last. 1-800-655-3232. That's 1-800-655-3232. 1-800-655-3232.
It's time for the Texas Minute, brought to you by EmpowerTexans.com.
Texas's first president, Sam Houston, said politicians must, quote, govern wisely and as little as possible. Sam would be surprised to see the government we've enabled. Texas has the second highest per capita debt in the nation. We even have more debt than liberal California. Much of Texas's debt is held by schools, locked in fierce competition over the biggest football stadiums and jumbotrons. But before we yell at school board trustees and city council members, remember this. In Texas, debt is approved at the ballot box. In most debt elections, only 5% of registered voters even show up. But you still pay for the government you choose to ignore. Before taxpayers can get relief, they have to show up at the ballot box and demand debt reform. From EmpowerTexans.com, I'm Ross Kessig.
Learn more about the issues facing the Lone Star State and how to be an effective citizen at EmpowerTexans.com.
People take a dangerous gamble every day with their finances by driving without an auto warranty. One repair could cost you thousands of dollars. Cover America has announced affordable mechanical breakdown coverage at direct-to-the-public pricing. This is the same type of coverage dealers offer at a substantial discount. Call for a free, no-obligation coverage quote from one of our friendly specialists. Call 800-583-2138. That's 800-583-2138. 800-583-2138.
Amdro Kills Ants presents The Household Ant Requiem. If you find yourself shrieking in disgust because ants are invading the harmony of your clean kitchen and home, you need Amdro Kills Ants bait stations and sakes inside and outside your house. Amdro Kills Ants is a bait ants love, so they eat it and die. And that's a tune that'll keep your house humming. Find Amdro Kills Ants' entire line of products at a Walmart near you.
660 AM, The Answer. You're hearing tomorrow's front page on the Wells Report with Jon-David Wells on 660 AM. The Answer.
According to Ashkan Soltani, who's an engineer by trade, who spent the last year working on privacy policy for the U.S. government, the possibility of your car taking you to the police station on a whim is not in the realm of science fiction. If Apple loses its brawl with the U.S. government over whether it's got a right code to defeat the security system of an iPhone linked to the San Bernardino shootings, the kind of scenario becomes much more likely. That fight officially begins tomorrow, although it has been asked, there has been a delay asked for, as government lawyers may have a different way of getting around the security protocol. If that's the case, that security protocol dodge will not only be in the hands of the FBI, but every other law enforcement agency, including prosecutors in Palm Springs, Riverside, North Texas. And suddenly you won't have any way of keeping anything private from the U.S. government. And that is not the United States of America. And we have to come to grips with that. And we have to do something about that. You're listening to the Wells Report. This is 660 AM The Answer.
Hey, everybody, Mark Davis from my friends at Walker AC. The AC stands for air conditioning. It'll be a little while before we need that again. In the meantime, it's heat that is at issue. And let me tell you, Walker AC is my heating company as well. Walker Air Conditioning and Heating at walkerac.com, and the magic phone number 972-4 Walker, 972-4 These are the people to go to when your system needs fixing, when your system needs replacing. They're never going to sell you a system you don't need. They're going to do the repairs right at a fair price. If they can't fix it, they'll tell you about it and introduce you to the best price on the best system for you. It's people you can trust. Isn't that what it's all about? Trust with AC and heating, and Walker AC is there for you at walkerac.com and 972-4 972 4 If something's just not working right, if things are chilly when they shouldn't be, your heater's not working, give them a call. 972-4 972 4 972-4 or walkerac.com.
This is Michael David from Seattle. I'm 51 years old, and 6 months ago, I started taking Andro 400 to increase my testosterone. Since then, I've lost 35 pounds of fat, and my waist went from size 38 to size 32. I have more energy, and I look and feel 20 years younger. And now my wife tells me I have to take Andro 400. Hi.
Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. He is one of the august members of the Senate Judiciary Committee. He is also the senior senator from the state of Texas. John Cornyn will join us on the next edition of the Wells Report to tell us a little bit about what his thoughts are regarding future Supreme Court justices. The president has nominated someone. The Senate will not act. And you'll find out why from the inside out next time on the Wells Report. Mark Davis, good morning, my friend. Thanks very much for that wonderful note. It's great to be back. I missed you too, my brother, and I'm looking forward to getting back to work here a little bit later on the Wells Report. Senior Senator from the state of Texas, John Cornyn, will be joining us. He's going to show up to explain just a little bit more about the thinking going on in Senate leadership regarding whether or not to continue the nomination process, the advise and consent portion of a possible Supreme Court justice. Lot writing on just exactly what their decision is going to be, and you'll hear what it is next time on the Wells Report.
TXOrtho.com.
660 AM The Answer. KSKY Balch Springs, Dallas, Fort Worth. The official radio station of Decision 2016. The most important election of our lifetime.
Fox News Radio, I'm Rich Dennison. President Obama says he and Cuban President Raul Castro had a frank and candid conversation on human rights and democracy, and that they are making progress in tearing down barriers between the two nations.
After more than 5 very difficult decades, the relationship between our governments will not be transformed overnight.
The president wraps up his trip to the island nation on Tuesday with a speech to Cuban citizens and a baseball game. Another round of presidential primaries Tuesday.
Arizona is the big prize Tuesday. 75 delegates are split proportionally for the Democrats and 58 delegates, winner take all, for Republicans. The polls here have Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump ahead, respectively. Utah also holds a caucus Tuesday. It's a state where Ted Cruz leads by a lot, and it's a tight race there between Sanders and Clinton. Democrats are also voting Tuesday in Idaho.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal in Phoenix. Fox News, we report, you decide.
You're listening to 660 AM, The Answer.
This is Howard Garrett, the Dirt Doctor, and I'd like to invite you to join me for our talk show every Sunday morning. We're actually trying to convert the world to organics. We talk about the natural organic program for farming, ranching, gardening, and pest control. Also, a lot of talk about health issues for animals and people. Hope you can join us for all the fun.
Make sure to tune in to Howard Garrett, the Dirt Doctor, every Sunday morning from 8 to 11 a.m. right here on 660 AM, The Answer.
This is Michael Medved for townhall.com. Major polls seem to agree that the two most unpopular politicians in the country are Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. The latest Wall Street Journal poll shows 49% of Americans holding strongly negative views of Mr. Trump, with only 11% who feel strongly positive. In other words, by a ratio of nearly 5 to 1, more people hate him than love him. Secretary Clinton did only slightly better, with 17% strongly positive and 39% strongly negative. The lesson is that the current system of primaries and caucuses does a lousy job of picking candidates who can unite the country and restore public confidence. After this nasty and exhausting campaign, leaders of both parties should come together to rethink the entire process, making it shorter, more focused on issues, and less dominated by polarization, showmanship, and boisterous brawling in the style of professional wrestling. I'm Michael Medved.
Learn more at townhallreview.com.
Hey, it's Mark Davis. You know what they say happens after you turn 40. Well, about a million things, but here's one you can actually do something about. Let's fix your vision. You have those reading glasses fused to your face all the time, or when you do take them off, you'll lose them, you sit on them, it's just crazy. Let's get you out of the reading glasses relay with the corneal inlay procedure from my friends at the Climate Evangelista Eye Center. This is a wonderful thing. You can't literally turn back time, so you got two options. Reading glasses for the rest of your life, or the corneal inlay procedure from Climate Evangelista Eye Center. This is a wonderful procedure specially designed to restore reading vision for the over 40 crowd. So if that's you, get on over to the phone, call 1-800-714-2020, 1-800-714-2020, or MyInlay, MyInlay, myinlay.com. They're in Arlington, Plano, and Knox Henderson in Dallas. Free consultation, myinlay.com. Call them 1-800-714-2020 or myinlay.com.
As a listener to this station, you've heard a variety of companies advertising their products and services, many of them for a number of years.
I'm Walt Parker with InvestingMakesMeSick.com. I've gotten absolutely great results. No matter who's advertising, it definitely pays off. Doesn't matter what business they're in. I think they'll find it's going to be very rewarding.
My name is John Duncan, and I'm the CEO and founder of Bioscan of Los Colinas. It's simply the most effective advertising that I can do. I've advertised for the last 14 years on television, radio, and newspaper, and advertising with 660. It's the best results.
Hi, I'm Marsha West, Senior Account Manager for 660 AM The Answer. For 20 years, I've worked with companies, both big and small, to create cost-effective radio campaigns that get results. Let me do the same for you. Contact me today at mwest@ksky.com. That's mwest@ksky.com. I want to help you grow your business.
Control, this is QL1. Side hatch is secure. QL1, this is Control. We copy, showing normal cabin pressure. Over. Control, this is QL1. Do you like mortgages? That's a negative, QL1. Over. Control, do you like rockets? That's affirmative, QL1. Over. Do you like rocket mortgages? I'm listening. Over. Of course you are, Control. Everyone likes rockets. Control, Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans is the first on-demand mortgage machine that turns the entire mortgage process into a fast, powerful, completely online experience. Copy that, QL1. I'm going to go ahead and push this button in 3, 2, 1. Rocket Mortgage at QuickenLoans.com. Push button, get mortgage.
Rocket.
Visit for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
The year is not so new anymore, but your carpets can look that way with Zero Res. Hey, Mark Davis, my friends at Zero Res just gave me a fantastic carpet cleaning, and I'm offering it to you. $33 a room. $33 a room by calling 214-37-CLEAN. Then, plus 100 square feet of tile cleaning for free and a $50 gift card from Estilo Gaucho. It is pre-treated, clean, and sanitized. Best carpet cleaning ever from my friends at Zero Res. $33 a room. Call them now for the special. 214-37-CLEAN for Zero Res. 214-37-CLEAN.
I've been teaching organic chemistry for the last 17 years, so I'm pretty good with complex calculations. But when I started thinking about my retirement, I was pretty stumped. Luckily, I have TIAA as my financial partner. Together, we retrosynthetically analyzed my financial future, which is organic chem speak for we figured it out.
See how we're helping those who do good do well at the new TIAA.org. TIAA, created to serve, built to perform.
660 AM, The Answer. 660 AM, TheAnswer.com. Is anybody out there paying attention to what's going on in this country, in this state, and in this city? We know one man who is. You got questions? He's got answers. This is the Wells Report with Jon-David Wells on 660 AM, The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is Jon-David Wells. Our telephone number is 866-660-5759. 866-660-5759. Like many other states in the United States, Georgia has tried to do something about how the forces of societal engineering and the people of a religious nature, we've been trying to figure out some way of stopping that collision between those two worlds as they seek to assert supremacy on each other. The forces of social engineering believe that if you happen to have a business, you must serve everyone regardless of what they believe or what they think or how they behave. Regardless of what your business is, and regardless of whether or not you have the freedom to say, you know, I'm just not going to serve every single person that walks through the door. Remember those signs that say, we reserve the right to refuse service to anyone? Not necessarily the case. In fact, there are a lot of people who find themselves in court, find themselves being fined, you know, in the millions of dollars because of religious obligations, principles, what have you, that forbid them to take part in certain societal engineering projects. So the states have responded by passing laws that protect those religious rights, or at least seek to mitigate the damage that the lords of societal engineering must wreak on people who disagree with them. The latest state to do that is Georgia. A religious freedom bill described by opponents as being discriminatory against same-sex couples passed the Georgia state legislature last Wednesday. The legislation dubbed the Religious Liberty Bill still has to be signed by Georgia Republican Governor Nathan Deal to become law. Deal has made clear he will not sign a bill that allows discrimination, but his office did not immediately respond to requests for comments on whether or not he planned to veto the bill. Now, he has signaled that he is not happy about the bill because he was very concerned about whether or not it was discriminatory against same-sex couples. The only thing that I can tell you on that is that same-sex couples are essentially turning this into a way to make a lot of money. Picking fights with the people that actually go to church every Sunday seems to be an awful way of trying to make as much money as possible, but I suppose, you're willing to do anything for money, then okay. I guess that makes sense. But this is where someone's grasp exceeds their ability to know what to reach for and what not to. HB 757 is a bill that would allow people that have religious objections to not be forced by the lords of political correctness and societal engineering to do what they disagree with religiously. It's one of the reasons why we have the United States of America. It is the first right enumerated by the Constitution of the United States and the Bill of Rights. The governor said, cynically, by the way, I think what the New Testament teaches us is that Jesus reached out to those who were considered outcasts. Okay. But I also remember Jesus being quite sure about what was sin and what wasn't sin. And then while he reached out to sinners, he didn't say that they weren't sinners. So when you start using these kinds of quotes, I think what the New Testament teaches us is that Jesus reached out to those who were considered outcasts. You open a can of worms than the one that you're in the middle of because you are not sure that you want to sign this religious freedom bill. Since it passed overwhelmingly in both the House and the Senate of Georgia, to not pass it, to not sign it, to veto it, would most likely be a career ender for you, Governor. While you are the governor of Georgia, you work for the people of Georgia. You don't work for yourself. By the way, in case you're wondering, the House of Representatives in Georgia approved the measure 104 to 65. The ratio that would be enough to veto a deal, to override a veto, 37 for and 18 against in the Senate, was even more overwhelming. So the chances are the bill will probably become law. And what Governor Deal has to figure out is whether or not he wants to be reelected again. For those people who believe in term limits, if, for example, Governor Deal is not termed out, in other words, if he's got another term ahead of him, he would probably go ahead and sign the bill. But if he has a term limit, if he's looking at being limited out of office, why would you not do the politically astute thing and veto the bill, only to have it overridden in the legislature at their next opportunity? So that's a decision that's left up to Governor Deal and the representatives and senators in the Georgia legislature. So, in case you're wondering where we stand on this, Texas already passed this law. And so it's already done here in the state of Texas. There were some amendments that tried to get passed last time around. They didn't get moved forward. Now, here's where things get sticky. Here's where things begin to go dangerously awry, at least in my view. The people of Georgia freely spoke that in their state, They believe that people should have the right to conscientiously disagree, to conscientiously object to providing goods and services to people who are in violation of their own religious beliefs. That's why these laws exist. So an overwhelming number of politicians in Georgia have passed this law in response to the will of the people, because that's how a republic works. So who do you think would be in opposition of that? And what do you think they'd do? Any idea what organization might have a problem with the religious rights bill as passed in Georgia? Any idea? No? How about the National Football League? The NFL came out against a proposed religious exemption bill in Georgia, saying the deal could have an effect on the Super Bowl selection process for 2019 and 2020. Yeah, the NFL is coming out against the religious rights bill. And the reason that they're coming out against it is because they think it's possibly discriminatory against same-sex couples. Apparently, they don't care that a vast majority of Georgians disagree with them. And this is where liberal politics begins to fold in on itself, as it almost always does. The reason these laws are passed is because liberals in Georgia saw fit to violate the religious rights of their neighbors and then sued to get satisfaction when those neighbors said, no, I'm sorry, serving you would be against my religion. So they passed a law. So passing this law puts them at odds with the NFL. Well, now, wait a minute. The NFL's a business doing business in the United States, right? Right. Well, if this is all about going along with things that you disagree with, why would the NFL have a leg to stand on because the state of Georgia disagrees with the NFL's political stance and vice versa when it comes to same-sex couples, even if that was the case, which it isn't? People are saying this is an anti-gay law. It has nothing to do with that. It is a pro-freedom of speech and religious freedom law. Now, either the NFL is against the First Amendment of the Constitution, or they're hypocritical insofar as they want everybody else to serve those they disagree with, but refuse to serve people they disagree with. Now, you know, I'm not one to call boycotts because I'm reasonably sure that if I could call a boycott, there might be 25, 30 people even that would follow it. But is the NFL getting just a little bit too big for its dang britches? Does the NFL have a right to tell a state what laws to pass and what laws not to pass under pain of losing a Super Bowl game? Should the people of Georgia tell the NFL to buzz off? 866-660-5759. You're listening to The Wells Report.
Veterans have given us the freedoms we live by each day. That's why Starkey Mortgage and 660 AM The Answer bring you the Veteran of the Month. If you know a veteran who deserves this honor, then go to 660amtheanswer.com and nominate them to be the 660 AM The Answer Starkey Mortgage Veteran of the Month. Winners will visit the studio, meet hosts Mark Davis and Jon-David Wells, and receive a prize from Starkey Mortgage. Go to 660amtheanswer.com to nominate your veteran. Starkey Mortgage is an equal housing lender, NMLS number 2146. This is not a commitment to lend. Specific underwriting guidelines must be met.
If you're over the age of 50 and considering buying an annuity in the next 60 days, I have some urgent news for you. Don't buy an annuity until you understand the pros and cons of annuities. A free book to help you maximize your retirement income from PBS host and three-time author Josh Melberg has been released. This book reveals little-known truths about annuity strategies in simple-to-understand terms. Grab a pen right now because we're about to offer you this free book that unlocks the 5 little-known secrets we believe baby boomers and seniors should know before buying an annuity. Call 800-644-3169 now to get your personalized copy rushed to you today. Do you want to avoid mistakes baby boomers and seniors can make when they buy annuities? Those mistakes now could be costly later to you and your family. Call 800-644-3169. That's 800-644-3169. Employees of J.D. Melberg Financial have the appropriate licenses for the products they offer.
Have you been holding out for a good deal to replace that old AC system? Well, now there's a new program you just can't pass up. I'm Jeff Stewart with Reliant Air Conditioning. You may have already heard that you can save over $3,500 on a new Infinity system with Carrier's Cool Cash, but did you know that for a limited time, you can also get an additional $1,800 off from your utility provider? That's right. And when you combine these two programs, we're talking saving over $5,000 on a brand new AC system that can cut your electric bill in half. But the utility funds are limited, and the program will end when the money runs out. Right now, we're scheduling free estimates on a first-come, first-served basis. So call now. Better yet, call 2 other companies first, and then call Reliant Air Conditioning, and you'll see how we've been gimmick-free since '83. Call 877-YOUR-HERO. That's 877-968-7437, or visit us online at ReliantAirConditioning.com.
Reliant Air Conditioning. Call 877-YOUR-HERO.
Have you put off seeing the dentist because you can't afford to go? Are big dental bills taking a big toll on your wallet? Would you like to have dental insurance but think it's too expensive? If you answered yes to any of these questions, call Physicians Mutual Insurance Company for a free information kit. See how you can help protect your teeth and your wallet for less than $1 a day. 1-800-508-9951. This is real dental insurance that can help cover over 300 procedures, all the ones you're most likely to need. Everything from cleanings and fillings to crowns and dentures. Your acceptance is guaranteed for one of these insurance policies, even if you're retired or on Medicare. You can see any dentist you choose, and you'll never pay a deductible. Call in the next 10 minutes, and we'll rush you a free information kit with all the details. 1-800-508-9951. That's 1-800-508-9951. 1-800-508-9951.
Are you suffering with hearing loss? Are you sick of people constantly complaining that your TV is too loud? Are you tired of asking people to speak up? Would you like to hear more clearly, but you don't want to wear a hearing aid that makes you look old? Then you need to try Listen Clear, a life-changing breakthrough precisely designed by top audio engineers to fit your ear almost invisibly. And you can adjust Listen Clear to find the perfect way to hear everything, wherever you are and whatever you're doing. And right now you can try Listen Clear absolutely free with free shipping. We'll even give you free batteries for life. So call now, 1-800-700-5105. Listen Clear is lightweight and completely hassle-free, and it's practically invisible. Call for your 100% free home trial with free shipping and free batteries for life. For free information, call now, 1-800-700-5105. That's 1-800-700-5105. 1-800-700-5105.
What is Pink Impact?
Last year, Elaine Fisher spoke on being a light in dark places, even if you don't want to be there.
And during that message, I heard God shouting out my calling, be a light.
Being a light where all I saw was darkness.
Be a light. That's my Pink Impact story.
Pink Impact. May 13th and 14th at the Fort Worth Convention Center with Priscilla Shire, Christine Kane, Charlotte Gamble, and Worship with Carrie Job. Get your tickets now at pinkimpact.com. That's pinkimpact.com.
Learn a little something at the start of your day. The Mark Davis Show. Mornings 7 to 10 on 660 AM. The Answer. Isn't thinking so much more fun than getting yelled at? The Wells Report on 660 AM. The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is Jon-David Wells. Which is more important to you? The First Amendment of the Constitution, granting you free speech and the right to freely pursue the religion of your choice, or the Super Bowl? Why would a bill that came into existence because of liberal intolerance then be used to provide us with more liberal intolerance, which is exactly what's going on? A lesbian couple walks into a cake store, tells the owner, gosh, we'd love to have a wedding cake for our wedding. The owner says, I appreciate your request, but I am a religious person, and I disagree with you living together as you see fit, and so I'm not making you a wedding cake. I'm exerting my right to refuse service to anyone, and I am refusing service to you based on my religious principles. And so you, as the lesbian or homosexual couple, then go immediately to court, file a lawsuit. A liberal judge says, okay, we're going to fine them $37,500 a day until they comply. And so the bill is born to protect those people who are conscientious objectors to social engineering. And then the NFL comes out and says, no, you can't pass that because that's discriminatory. And if you're discriminatory, then you can't have the Super Bowl. Okay. Isn't that fascist thuggery? Eight 660-5759. Does the NFL have the right to penalize an entire state, their representatives, their senators? Do they have the right to refuse the service, to refuse their service to the state of Georgia and the city of Atlanta? Because the people of that city don't agree with the NFL's religious principles or lack thereof? Now, I know a lot of people are looking at this and going, does there have to be some sort of political solution to everything? You know, I wish there wasn't, because politics fatigue is becoming an acute problem for me. Everything in the world has some political connotation to it. The reason that we have that problem is because while we were busy making a living, there were a lot of people who weren't bothering to make a living that were actually able to hornswoggle the government out of the money that we were putting in the treasury because we were working. They come up with this fantastic idea to first create a problem, excoriate the people that say, hey, this is a problem. And then when that's unsuccessful, they co-opt the NFL to get in the way of people practicing their conscientious First Amendment rights. Anybody have any idea where basketball and where football and where baseball is headed next? How are they going to tell us how to live our lives? No World Series for you, no NBA championship for you, no Super Bowl for you unless you live your life the way we deem necessary. I think that's the tail wagging the dog. This is the Wells Report.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company in
Jon-David,
Texas. Not available
come
in
here,
all states.
please.
For details, visit
Yes.
AIGdirect.com.
Do you have a family? Would you like to help make sure they'll be taken care of if anything were to happen to you? If you answered yes, you probably need life insurance. Now, do you think life insurance is expensive? If you answered yes to that too, you definitely need to give AIG Direct a call. We could find you a $250,000 policy for just $14 a month, which means you could save hundreds of dollars a year. Call us now for a free, no-obligation quote. 1-800-941-9947. Since 1995, we've helped millions of people find out if they could save up to 70% on their term life insurance. See how affordably we can help you protect your family. Call AIG Direct now for your free quote. 1-800-941-9947. You could save up to 70%. That's 1-800-941-9947. 1-800-941-9947.
Are you a responsible person who finds yourself growing deeper and deeper in credit card debt and you're not sure how to fix the problem? Then get ready for a toll-free number that will put you on a path to financial recovery. Trinity Debt Management is a nonprofit organization that will consolidate your accounts into one easy-to-manage monthly payment, put a stop to late fees and over-limit charges, and reduce your interest rates by as much as 60%. You'll save thousands and become debt-free for keeps. It's not a loan. It's a smart way to relieve your stress, meet your obligations, and preserve your self-respect. If your debt has you down, we should talk. Gather up your bills and call this toll-free number for a free, no-obligation debt analysis. 1-800-990-6976. That's 1-800-990-6976. If you're in debt and you need help, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
Hi, my name's Tim Forehand. I'm a deputy sheriff, and my job keeping me in shape is important. I've tried other products to get my weight down, but nothing has worked like Andrew 400. In just 3 months, I've dropped 51 pounds, down from 230 to 179. Plus, the weight's come off in the stomach area. I've gone from a snug 36-inch waist to a 32-inch waist, which I was in high school. I highly recommend the Andrew 400 to all my friends.
Guys, are you frustrated because no matter how hard you try, it seems impossible to lose stubborn belly fat? Then discover why thousands of men each month rely on Andro 400. Lose belly fat, gain energy and confidence, and feel great about yourself. Andro 400, the safe, effective, and inexpensive way to boost your testosterone. Go to andro400.com or call 888-400-0435.
Hey, everybody, Mark Davis. All we're trying to do each day is meet our responsibilities at home, at work, in life, with our families. It's all harder when you are racked with pain, back pain, or pain anywhere else. Welcome to my friends at the Spine Center at North Texas Orthopedics. Now, Spine Center says back pain, and they deal with that. In fact, if you got a back pain issue right now and don't know what it is, how about a free assessment? And I do mean free. Don't worry about money or insurance. Just get in there. ntxortho.com. ntxortho.com. They're in Grapevine and Keller. 817-789-7787. 817-789-7787 or ntxortho.com. Free back assessment. But here's another offer. If you've got any other kind of pain, leg pain, hip pain, back pain, all the kinds of things that can just hurt, these are your experts at North Texas Orthopedics. So get in touch now at 817-789-7787 or ntxortho.com. Serving the community for over 25 years. Great people, fantastic service, great patient care. ntxortho.com.
Are you a business owner who is jealous of some of the great commercials you hear right here on 660 AM The Answer? Do you feel a little left out when a clever commercial plays and you wish it was about you instead? Nothing's worse than hearing a catchy commercial from a competitor who is raking in new customers each day while you still aren't advertising on the radio. It's not too late. I can still help you. My name is Brad Ballard, and I work here at 660 AM The Answer. Call me today at 214-561-9116, and I can turn you into the company everyone wants to work with. That's 214-561-9116. It's much more affordable than you might think. Don't let another competitor pass you by. Call me today at 214-561-9116, and we'll get you on the radio right away. I'll meet with you personally to brainstorm the best message possible that will rise above the rest. It's time to grow your business and sound like one of the big boys. So don't wait. Call me at 214-561-9116.
Saying I don't know is no longer acceptable. This is 660 AM, The Answer. Now, the Wells Report with Jon-David. David Wells on 660 AM. The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. Make sure you listen to the Mark Davis Show tomorrow, and here is why.
Hey, JD, welcome back. Now the focus turns to Arizona, Utah, and the other states that haven't voted yet. Everybody, here's your chance. Those who want to keep this Trump thing from happening, there's only one way to do it. It's called Vote for Ted Cruz. That'll either happen or it won't on Tuesday night in a couple of states, and then we'll all have to deal with it, which some people are ready to do and some maybe not. Meanwhile, President Obama greases the reputational wheels of the Castro regime. We'll see how that's working out for everybody. Plus, of course, all the overnight news we need to tackle. Busy Tuesday morning show. Join us 7 to 10 a.m. right here on 660 a.m. The Answer.
Thanks very much, Mark. I appreciate it. So the NFL wants to tell people in Georgia how they should live and how they shouldn't live, what laws to pass and what laws not to pass. If the state of Georgia sees fit to ignore the NFL might decide not to take the Super Bowl to the Georgia Dome in either 2019 or 2020. The hypocrisy of the NFL is showing beyond all measure now, because the state of Texas passed a bill almost identical to this, if not identical to this, in 1999. We've had Super Bowls since then. And so, I think that's the tail wagging the dog. I think the NFL needs to shut up. I think the NFL needs to get out of the way of politics. I don't think the NFL has anything to say about any of this. And I think they're screwing around in absolutely the wrong place. And with that being said, I think they can only hurt themselves. And I want to see if you agree. 866-660-5759. Stephen Rosser, thanks very much for joining us. Welcome to the Wells Report.
Hey, JD. Thanks for having me, brother.
Sure.
Hey, man, let me scramble a few eggs here. I got a question. At which point does my liberty become your tyranny? I mean, that's kind of the, what it's kiltering on here. It's like, the NFL is a business. So wouldn't the free market decide the outcome of a business?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll just kind of leave it at that. I mean, if that's a bad business decision for them to pull out and do that, I mean, I would figure that the free market itself would decide whether or not they made a good or bad decision.
Well, that's mostly true. I mean, you've got to understand that the NFL is a little bit different in that they have they've got an exemption to monopoly laws and so on and so on. But what bothers me is the hypocrisy. What bothers me is the fact that the NFL is in a position where they're trying to tell people that you can't pass this law because it makes it possible, not saying that it's actually happening, but it makes it possible for people to discriminate against gays, lesbians, et cetera, et cetera. Now, all I can say on that is that why would you be able to come across with a law that says, hey, or not a law, but a policy that says we're not going to have Super Bowl games that would dare to respect the religious rights and religious liberty of their citizens? If that's what the NFL wants to do, that's perfectly fine. And yes, it will catch up to them at some point. That was my point. That's why I was saying the NFL's got a lot of money behind it, but it's not a finite resource, or not an infinite resource. I would tell, if I was Georgia, actually, if I was the Georgia governor and I had misgivings about the bill, I'd sign it anyway and tell the NFL to buzz off. They might come back to me and say, okay, well, we can take our franchise away from you. Okay. But let me explain something. You are espousing a law that if I was a wedding cake baker I would have no access to. Why doesn't that violate the Equal Protection Act? The equal protection part of the Equal Protection Clause of the U.S. Constitution? Well, because you're not a member of a sacred and protected group. Oh, really? Yeah, you're just an American citizen and just a voter. You don't count. Excuse me? Insanely. That is the position they're asking you to swallow here. All Georgia citizens, organizations, and businesses need protection from adverse legislation that would infringe upon their religious beliefs regarding marriage, defined in the Bible as the union of one man and one woman. It is wrong to accuse persons of discrimination who live and conduct their businesses according to their deeply held religious beliefs. Lieutenant Governor Casey Cagle supports the bill, saying it's intended to protect faith-based organizations that provide social services from going out of business because of their opposition for gay marriage. Deal went on to say earlier this month he'd veto any legislation that has legalized discrimination. The bill would protect pastors from performing same-sex marriages and give faith-based organizations permission to deny use of their businesses for anything they find objectionable. Businesses wouldn't have to hire anyone whose religious beliefs are different from theirs, according to the Washington Post. Yeah, you know, this is the classic argument. Because you run a faith-based organization, are you forced to hire an atheist to check off a box? Or run the risk of being sued if you don't? That's not the way the law was intended to work. At all. I don't understand how they can do this. I don't know why they don't see the hypocrisy of it all, because it is hypocrisy. You can't refuse service to anyone, but because you have a bill protecting your right to refuse service to anyone, we're going to reserve the right to refuse service to you. Don't go there. You know, I had a lot of hopes for NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell for a long, long time. But I'm beginning to see what a lot of people have seen before me, that he may not necessarily be the right guy for this job. While we're at this, let me tell you about Lexi. She's a 6-year-old girl. She is living in the home of Summer and Rusty Page. Summer and Rusty are Lexi's foster parents. Lexi is 1.5% Choctaw Native American. This is according to whatever stats they get this from. I don't know exactly where. 1.5%. Okay. That being said, you know what the Choctaw Nation is saying? As they point to the Indian Child Welfare Act, Lexi can only live with other Native American families. In other words, because she's 1.5% Native American, She can only live with other Native American families. By the way, in case you're wondering, the foster parents are fighting it, as you might suggest. I want to know this. Because of this law, are American Indians fighting for segregation? Is that what they're doing? She's only known the home of Summer and Rusty Page. That's all she knows. Lexi is 6. Lexi is about to get transported into a world she has no idea about, based on the fact that 98.5% of her is at odds with 1.5% of her, the 1.5% that is Native American. And so, what about her? What about Lexi? Where does she go? I don't know. The tribe has decided to place Lexi with a person in Utah who is not Native American and does not live on a reservation. Well, why would those people be qualified and her current parents not be qualified? That's a great question, in case you're asking. Yeah. Now, Summer and Rusty are fighting to keep the child that they've had for more than, and they've tried for more than 2 years to adopt. Lexi doesn't know another home. She finally knows what mom and dad means, and they want to take that away from her. We can't stand idly by while that happens. Summer and Rusty also have a 9-year-old, another 6-year-old, and a 2-year-old. Lexi is the family's only foster child. And they've got a busy day because let me tell you something, getting one of those children, getting an adoption is all but impossible. You have to open up every aspect of your life. And I'm not exactly sure that that's something that most people would do. And then to do that, and then to be awarded a child, and then to have that child taken away from you because of something that is somewhat crazy. Not being a Choctaw, that's amazing. I don't know. I just don't see this coming to any good. We have institutional racism in this nation, institutionalized through law. And what we're doing is we're watching these ethnic groups draw ever more inward. And we're watching them draw inward in a time when we've never been more enlightened. There's no excuse for this. And I'm saying to myself, gosh, I believe that people's ideas and political beliefs and principles, I believe that those are very important, right up to the point where they start screwing up kids' lives. And then I start getting pretty upset pretty fast. This is the Wells Report.
Hey, it's Mark Davis from my friend Josh DeShong. The real estate world of Josh DeShong sells houses when others cannot. I am living proof. Lisa and I are so thrilled with Josh. He came in and sold our house with blinding speed. You want a promise. You want somebody who's going to sit down with you and say, I promise to sell your house. Most folks won't do this. Josh will. His website is getsold.net, and he is telling you your house will get sold. How does he do this? Well, you call him at the number I'm about to give you. He sits down with you and says, let's arrive at an agreed upon price and an agreed upon time frame. If that house of yours does not sell at that price in that time frame, he, Josh DeShong, simply buys your house. That's it. You're out. You're at closing. You move on. So call him and call him today. Don't waste a day. 972-325-6644. 972-325-6644. D Magazine Best Realtor 3 years in a row. I'll love him forever. Josh DeShong, getsold.net. 972-325-6644.
From Plano to Denton down to Louisville too. Hot-Finds has it. Also in McKinney, we'll prove it to you. Hot-Finds has it.
And now get more truck for your buck during Truck Month at Huffine Chevrolet in Plano and Louisville. Get Texas-size savings on Huffine's Texas-size selection of new Chevy Silverados and Motor Trend's 2016 Truck of the Year, the Chevy Colorado. And Huffine's will save you even more with huge cash rebates, super low financing, and guaranteed top dollar for your trade. So for Texas-size savings on a Texas-size selection of new Chevy trucks and all the other Chevy cars and SUVs, Huffines has it. So find new roads today to Ray Huffine Chevrolet in Plano and Huffine Chevrolet in Louisville, or online 24/7 at huffines.net.
Hot-Finds has it.
If your credit card debt is out of control, if you're in over your head dealing with monthly payments, there's a powerful secret the credit card companies don't want you to know. If you have more than $5,000 in credit card debt, you have the right to settle that debt for a fraction of what you owe. That's bad news for credit card companies, but it's great news for you. We're Credit Associates, and we're offering you free information on how to virtually eliminate your credit card debt and make your monthly payment affordable. To see how much you could save, call now. 1-800-700-3515. Don't declare bankruptcy. Give us 10 minutes and we could save you thousands. We depend on your success and offer a guarantee, so there's no risk. Credit Associates. Live better debt-free. Find out how easy it is by calling now. For the secret the credit card companies don't want you to know, call Credit Associates now and see how much money you could save for free. Call 1-800-700-3515. That's 1-800-700-3515.
American Leak Detection. Leak detection without destruction. We find leaks without bashing a hole.
Hi, Will Nell with American Leak Detection. When the weather is dry, many people believe their foundation is failing, when in fact, what you have is a plumbing leak. Leaking pipes under your slab can cause movement in your foundation and expensive damage to your home. So before you have your foundation fixed, you should get your plumbing checked. With state-of-the-art technology, American Leak Detection is the only name to call. We are the original leak specialists. We can locate your plumbing leak without destruction and then repair it. Don't let a plumbing leak under your foundation go undetected or waste money on unnecessary foundation repair. Go to AmericanLeakDetection.com today. That's AmericanLeakDetection.com.
We're American Leak Detection. American Leak Detection.
And the Grammy goes to. And the American Music Award goes to.
Mr. Stephen Curtis Chapman.
Hi, we're Third Day.
We're forming sort of one new band called SCC 3D.
Our sister station's doing it again. The 94.9 KLCY concert series welcomes Stephen Curtis Chapman with Third Day at the Verizon Theater on April 30th. Get your tickets right now at AXS.com. AXS.com.
In Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 2, God says, "Write in a book all the words I've spoken to you." Is there a story in you today? Have you ever felt urged by God to write those words in a book? Zulon Press is the largest, most experienced Christian self-publisher in the world, and they're offering a free publishing guide at ChristianPublishingGuide.com. They've helped thousands of people just like you tell their stories and touch thousands of lives.
Share your story and find out more today at 660amtheanswer.com. Visit 660amtheanswer.com now.
660 AM. 660 AM. The Answer. 660amtheanswer.com. The Wells Report, must-hear radio on 660 AM. The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is Jon-David Wells. A top Homeland Security official told the Border Patrol the Obama administration has, quote, no interest of deporting, unquote, many of the illegal immigrants caught trying to sneak into the country. Brandon Judd, the president of the National Border Patrol Council, said the orders are a new catch-and-release policy, which he said amounts to amnesty because it means many illegal immigrants are never asked to leave the country. It also suggests the Border Patrol is now being ordered to break President Obama's own enforcement priorities, which say new illegal immigrants, defined as those who came after December 31st, 2013, are priorities for deportation and are supposed to be arrested and processed. Mr. Judd provided his testimony in written answers released today by the House Judiciary Committee, saying that even in some criminal cases, agents are ordered to let illegal immigrants go without ever issuing them a notice to appear. That's what that, and which is what puts them into deportation proceedings. On a related note, 4 illegal immigrants were arrested for rape and assault with a deadly weapon in the knifing and raping of a couple in North Carolina. Got to do something about politics interfering with law. We just have to. The executive producer of the Wells Report is Vicki Steifer. Technical director, conductor of the Wells Report Orchestra is Magic Matt Swinney. I'm Jon-David Wells. Have a wonderful evening. We'll see you again tomorrow for another edition of the Wells Report.
It's time for the Texas Minute, brought to you by EmpowerTexans.com.
Texas's first president, Sam Houston, said politicians must, quote, govern wisely and as little as possible. Sam would be surprised to see the government we've enabled. Texas has the second highest per capita debt in the nation. We even have more debt than liberal California. Much of Texas's debt is held by schools, locked in fierce competition over the biggest football stadiums and jumbotrons. But before we yell at school board trustees and city council members, remember this. In Texas, debt is approved at the ballot box. In most debt elections, only 5% of registered voters even show up. But you still pay for the government you choose to ignore. Before taxpayers can get relief, they have to show up at the ballot box and demand debt reform. For EmpowerTexans.com, I'm Ross Kessick.
Learn more about the issues facing the Lone Star State and how to be an effective citizen at EmpowerTexans.com.
This is a life-changing message for anyone with sleep apnea who is on the go and tired of dragging around a big, bulky home CPAP device. MiniCPAP.com now offers a portable device that's as small as a soda can and weighs less than a pound. For even more freedom, you can add a battery that's as tiny as a deck of cards. It's called the Transcend Mini CPAP, and right now you can try it risk-free for 10 days by calling 1-800-600-9144. Transcend is the world's first portable mini CPAP device. It gives you the freedom to sleep in total comfort anywhere you are. Our smallest and most advanced portable design ever, Transcend is so small and so light you can fit it in your briefcase or purse to use anywhere you go. It's FAA compliant too, so you can even sleep comfortably while flying. Enjoy the freedom to sleep comfortably anywhere. Call minicpap.com now for your 10-day at-home trial. 1-800-600-9144. That's 1-800-600-9144.
The year is not so new anymore, but your carpets can look that way with Zero Res. Hey, Mark Davis, my friends at Zero Res just gave me a fantastic carpet cleaning, and I'm offering it to you. $33 a room. $33 a room by calling 214-37-CLEAN. Then, plus 100 square feet of tile cleaning for free and a $50 gift card from Estilo Gaucho. It is pre-treated, clean, and sanitized. Best carpet cleaning ever from my friends at Zero Res. $33 a room. Call them now for the special. 214-37-CLEAN for Zero Res. 214-37-CLEAN.
660 AM The Answer. KSKY Balch Springs, Dallas, Fort Worth. The official radio station of Decision 2016.